real Grim. What are we gonna do?
Grim, that's how it looks.
I'll take Grim right now.
I am the Grim Reaper. With Grim.
The bosses are good.
And make it grim.
A grim tale indeed.
It's a little grim.
Meaningless and grim.
It's the Grim!
It's Grim.
Pretty grim, huh?
Things look grim.
I like the intro, but there's that little bit where it's not quite right that annoys me every time. I'll probably make a game-specific intro for Fabula Ultima, since we will hopefully be playing it for a while, unless everyone hates it. So, if you were here last week, you saw us generating characters, or most of us generating most of our characters. Some people have made little tweaks in between, but this will be bringing our characters all together. So, we are playing Fabula Ultima, which is like hen's teeth to find at the moment in hard copy, apparently. But there you go. So, popular game must be good, right? Doesn't hold for pop music, might for games. And there's been a few additions since I reviewed it, though I have reviewed these on my main channel. So we have the Techno Fantasy Guide there. We have the High Fantasy Guide there. There's a quick start. There's a couple of other little bits. GM's Toolkit came with the GM screen. I really need to tidy my desk so I have room to use it. That would be nice. And there's also the Natural Fantasy book now, which is only out on PDF, so I can't wave that at you. We not only generated our characters, we generated a whole game world last time, which is a bit Skies of Arcadia in some ways. Floating islands, flying ships, weird creatures, mysterious stuff going on. We're going to play this as more of an episodic game, so it's more sort of mission-oriented. And because we're doing a campaign, there isn't a huge rush to bring everything to a climax perfectly at the end of a session. So it should be a little bit different. Quickly to go over the rules. I won't need to do this when we are playing it regularly, but let's go through it now. When you make a check, you take a pair of dice from two stats, say a d4 and a d6, and you roll them and you add them together. So 4 plus 2, 6. That's a pretty shit roll. That wouldn't even succeed on an easy task. Right, so difficulties typically range from 7 to 16, from easy to very hard. There can be situational modifiers as well, which can be plus or minus 2 for the most part. If you fail, you can ask me as the Games Master, I want to succeed, but at a cost. And the Games Master can then offer you a cost, which you can accept or deny. Fumbles are always fumbles, and you can't really recover from those. So if you take a shot at an enemy and you miss, but like it's super important or they're going to slaughter all your friends, you can say, can I win at a cost? And I could say, yeah, it can hit him and take him out, but he fires back at the last moment and strikes your gun and destroys it. And then you can either take the deal or not at that point. Please don't overuse that while we're playing, because it puts a lot of cognitive load on the Games Master if he has to come up with deals every 5 minutes, which is, a problem. Or alternatively, you could offer a deal when you do that, and then I could decide whether I'm going to accept it or not. Besides the stats and the special abilities, so it's a pretty loosey-goosey game overall, you should have traits that describe your character as well. And these are more wibbly-wobbly. Say if you have a background that you are a cook and you're making a meal or you're trying to put on a feast for someone, then you can re-roll dice by spending a Fabula point, which are like luck points or story points or whatever. And provided it fits one of your traits, like the fact that you're a cook or whatever, that then means you can re-roll. So that's how the traits are used. They allow you to spend Fabula points to do stuff, so long as it fits your background. You develop bonds with other characters, and those can be used to increase the total score on your roll. So you can spend 1 Fabula point to add the strength of your bond with someone to the result, if it applies. You can also invoke you want to reduce your totals and force yourself to fail in order to get a Fabula point. So if you have a bond with an enemy and you really, really hate them, and it would cause you to fail if you reduced your roll by a number of points equal to your bond, you could say, okay, I want to do that because I need a Fabula point and I'm not going to beat him in this scenario anyway. But then it represents your character doing something dumb or stupid or letting their emotions get in the way. So you can use it as a bonus or a penalty with your allies or with enemies that you formed bonds with, and so on. And there might be repeated villains, so that always works. When you make checks as a group, it's made by a designated leader. Everyone else makes the same roll with a difficulty of 10, and each successful check that they make adds 1 to the leader's check. So you could use that for all sorts of things. The main way that it gets used, if I remember correctly, is for initiative rolls. And then you act as a group, swapping in and out in order with the enemies. I think. I will have to double check that once we get into a fight. And you roll your 2 dice. If they both come up the same number and total 6 or higher, then the check automatically succeeds and you get opportunity. I think that's right. It might be 6 on each dice. So having a d4 would mean you can't. But I think it's likely the total. But I will check. When you fumble, that's when you roll double 1. You get a Fabula point and your enemy gets an opportunity. So you might overextend yourself. There's a list of things I can choose from, or I can make something up to have the enemy exploit the opportunity. If the enemy provides you an opportunity, you can do stuff as well. It's fairly open. Like advantage, like a bonus to your next attack. You can make them dazed, shaken, slowed, weak, or some other condition that makes sense. You can create or add to an emotional bond to someone. You might make a social faux pas. You could force them to owe you a favor. Stuff like that. Gather information, all kinds of stuff. Well, if it comes to it, we'll go through the list until we get used to it. It uses clocks. Yay, like Apocalypse World, boo. Those are for doing longer tasks. So you set a number of segments to the clock, and then through every time period, you can make a skill roll. And depending what you roll, you might fill in 1 or more or not of the dots, or you might screw up, in which case something else happens. So that's just a way of tracking long-term stuff. So in combat, it's Dex plus Insight, rolled initiative as a group check to see which side acts first. The difficulty being the highest initiative amongst the enemies. You switch back and forth between winners and losers of initiative until everyone's taken a turn and a single action, and then that ends the round. When you do damage, you take the highest roll on whichever of the dice you rolled, and you add the number, and that comes off hit points. So that's perfectly simple. When you're reduced to 0 health, you can choose to sacrifice yourself, or you can surrender. You can sacrifice yourself if certain criteria are met. So there must be a villain present. Your sacrifice would benefit someone you're bonded to. Your sacrifice would make the world a better place. And you then get a heroic demise that changes something important about the game world. So it's a way of snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. If you choose to surrender, then by the book, I can't kill you. But there will be a story consequence to surrendering. Surrendering gets you 2 Fabula points. So it encourages you to surrender and survive and come back. Surrendering, however, allows you to regain hit points equal to your crisis score. Your crisis score is half your main hit points. So That lets you bump back up. You get a minor action and a normal action every turn. You have Fabula points. Everyone starts with 1 Fabula point at the start of the session. You get 1 for every fumble you make. You get 1 every time a villain enters the scene. You get 2 for surrendering, and you can get 1 for creating a failure against someone you have a bond with. You can also spend Fabula points to alter the story by adding to existing elements. Again, don't abuse that, please, because again, lots of cognitive load for the games master to deal with. You can use them to add or take away your bond strength from rolls. You can re-roll a dice if one of your traits applies, or there are certain skills and abilities and so on that require Fabula points. An interesting subsystem is the inventory system. So instead of having a big, long equipment list, you have inventory points. You replenish these by spending money when you're somewhere where you can get supplies. You can spend 3 points to gain a healing elixir. You can spend 2 points to get a remedy that regenerates your magic points. 2 points for a tonic to recover from a status effect. 2 points for an elemental shard or potion or alchemical goo that does damage of an elemental type. 4 points for a magic tent that lets you rest in the wilderness. And 2 to 4 points for anything else that your character might reasonably have. So if someone, for example, was a Taoist alchemist, just pulling that out of my ass, then they're quite likely to have explosives on them. So if you suddenly find yourselves in the need of blowing stuff up, and no one's explicitly got explosives on their character sheets, even though the sort of alchemist types do, but you could spend 2 to 4 points to have the explosives necessary. Yeah, come on, I know you're holding. Where's the plastique? All right, it was under my hat. Things like that. There are travel rules which are similar to the ones we had in the other game, Ryutama. But I will probably generally be rolling ahead of time for those. Magic-wise, you have spells, which are set effects that do certain things, like firebolts or whatever. But if you're a magician, generally speaking, you also get a ritual skill, which lets you take time and do stuff that fits whatever form of magic you have. So if you're an elementalist and you want to set fire to something, you know, you could either fire a firebolt into it, or you could do a ritual to create a rapid spreading fire that burns down a whole settlement, or whatever. Right, I think that's everything for the recap. I will bring in everyone else, and I will shut up for a bit now. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello.
Howdy.
Hello, viewers. Right.
Hello, viewers.
Would you care to, one by one, starting from the top row next to me, introduce your characters to everyone?
Hello, I am Niall Rogeros. I'm a gambler and a noodle maker. And a noodle shop owner. And I have a really cool noodle shop that flies. In fact, I've got a picture of it if you want to put it up.
Sure. How do I do that?
Well, you have to go to StreamYard, I think.
I'm in StreamYard.
Let me. There we go.
Cool. Except imagine it floating in the air.
Yes, yes. Well, I kept telling it to, make it floating in the air, and it wouldn't do it, so.
You got something floating in the air in the background, though.
Yeah, those are like the little noodle lanterns, the air balloon thingies that hold it up.
Yeah, they look like jellyfish. I like that. That's quite cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Jun.
Jun is a woman who was from a world she can't remember, modern day Earth, and she got hit by something that the natives call truckpoon. But ultimately, she has been stuck here. No memory of who she was. Her name was given to her by the fisherman who found her. And she learned the arts of swordcraft and magery. Although she's not too keen on the magic at the moment, but she knows how to use it a fair bit.
Okay. And then Devlin.
You're muted.
Be less muted.
He's still muted.
No. Hit it with a hammer. What? Do you want us to move on while you fix it?
No, I've got it now.
Okay.
But Sloan was a ship's navigator aboard a pirate crew at one point, but had been kicked out for not being quite up to snuff, and in the chaos of that, he inadvertently wound up getting cast out with an old ship that he now calls his own. That may or may not be wanted back.
So is that one of those little one-person pilot things?
Yeah,
In the rules.
I'd say big effort of him and one maybe two other people. Just get a slightly more elaborate rowboat.
Okay. All right. And then Bao.
Yeah, I'm Bao Ying, Boom Shadow, if you're feeling poetic. Saboteur, Tinkerer, Bombwright, and Living Contradiction, courtesy of the Boom Boom Guild. I was born in Ashbourne Ward, right there in the smoke, raised by soot and whispers, trained in the space between combustion and silence. I build bombs the way some people write poems, carefully, emotionally, with a bit of spite and a whole lot of timing. Every one of them has a memory baked in, a name, a purpose, a little piece of me that needs to come out loud. This hat, it belonged to my mom. Last thing that survived the blast. She said fire was a kind of prayer. I guess I've been praying loud ever since. I don't make things just to destroy. I destroy to reveal, to balance, to remind people the world still trembles, and I'm the reason why. So yeah, I'm short, I'm fast, I'm always 5 seconds ahead of the boom. And if you see me pull out of the harmony bomb, maybe say something nice, just in case that's the last sound you get to make.
Cool. And Quinn.
I'm Quinn, ship's boy. I was found on one of the little floating islands, and I was raised by dragons. They taught me how to fly. Do you know how to fly? I know how to fly. I like to talk to things. I can talk to just about anything that lives, and my goal is to one day learn to speak with all the animals.
Cool. All right. Word has reached you, various places that you lurk. You're all kind of on the outskirts of society, living as wanderers from island to island. But for the first time you can recall, someone has sent for you. Burke Bardiche, a pirate boss who operates out of the Rintik's Teeth. Rintik's Teeth is a shoal of jagged islands, like the fangs of a dead god, that lurk down low, close to the ocean of clouds.
Like a vagina dentata.
Yes. It's a haven carved from wreckage and rebellion, shrouded in near constant sweltering mist, which is called Rintik by the old sailors, hence the name.
Also like a vagina dentata.
Yes, it's very hot and moist and pointy. The archipelago is notorious for sudden storms, shifting magnetic currents, and its uncanny resistance to aerial navigation, which makes it challenging to get there. But fortunately, you've been able to cash in favors or pilot your way purely by luck to arrive there and to make your way through the hulks and the caves that are all kind of strung together with spit and a prayer, all holding together on this reef of jostling floating islands. T-shirt. I run tabletopless. Vagina jokes are not going to throw me off.
Okay.
If actual vaginas can't, then
Point.
You've got to do better to really snatch those good jokes out.
I know. We're just lubricating things up for the game, you know.
But we only have a certain time slot here, so
I mean, you know,
I don't think we'll have a
Keep
problem
it-
filling it.
keep it in your pants.
I mean, yes. Let's get down to the clitoris of it. I mean, the bits and pieces of it.
Okay, roll to find the clitoris. Difficulty 17. All right. So Burke Bardiche lives right out on one of the furthest islands, furthest away from the main docks and everything, because of course he does, because it's not terribly convenient. You've been given a time to meet him, and so you find yourselves, though not necessarily familiar with each other, all making your way through the tunnels and walkways at about the same time. You sort of come together in a loose sort of group as you make your way through the lantern-lit passageways. And it seems fairly obvious that you're all here for the same thing. So does anyone want to make introductions in character to each other? Or what?
Niall's just busy trading his cards between one hand and the other, just kind of like shuffling between them, kind of nodding at everybody, giving him that roguish smile.
I'm sure not one of you is questioning why I brought us all together today.
No, I'm not. I'm just here to use my blades and my magic. That's all I'm here for.
Though I will thank you kindly for the drinks. They were most considerate of you.
And the noodles. Thank you,
You're
Neil.
drinking in an alley? Wait a minute. I'm confused.
I found a drink somewhere.
Sochu tents? They have Sochu tents along the streetway?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they have people with barrels on their backs wandering around selling libations of various kinds.
In Korea, they have Sochu tents. Just on the street is a tent with a small table and a couple chairs, and Sochu, which is their distilled, any of the things that they make rice wine, types of wine, then they distill it and make it into Sochu. So there's like rice and wheat and yam. It's cheap. Burns going down. All right.
Yeah.
Well, so we were given a message or an invitation?
Yes. An invitation at a specific time, specific date, specific place by Bert Bardiche to meet him at the far end of Rintick's Teeth, where he has his little hidey hole. And making your way there, you've all run into each other. So you start to cross a double wide sort of gantry that runs from one island to the next. Above you, there's a spider web of ropes barely seen through the mist, all knotted and tied together, tied and retied, and the walkway creaks slightly under your feet, which is slightly disconcerting. You're about halfway across when a couple of large burly men drop down from a little platform above at one end of the bridge gantry, and another couple of men drop down at the other. They're wearing sort of loose blood red robes, and I mean dry blood, so almost brown robes, and carrying pistols and clubs. Brandishing them menacingly, they start to make their way towards you from either end of the gangway. One of them ahead of you moves slightly forward of the guy next to him and goes, There's a toll. The Poseidon run this whole place, and nobody gets through here without paying a little bit extra.
Oh, you wanted some noodles?
No, money, zenit, bit of clink.
I show him my little invitation. This is my penny.
Don't give squids toot for that. Money, that's what talks.
Me and Drakon fly off the bridge, and then I go, Drakon, flame.
Do you? I forget how you fly. Do you have a spell for that, or is it just a?
No, that's my natural ability. I just fly.
That's your natural ability. Yeah. Okay. Right. Well, let's make an initiative roll. So, who is the leader of your group? Who has the highest dex and insight?
I have a D10.
Yeah, I have a D10. I also have initiative of +4.
Well, it's
My
both
dex
the
is a
dex plus
D8,
insight.
and my insight is a D6.
8 and 8.
I got D6 and D10, but I got a +4 initiative.
Okay, so that's yeah, that makes a difference. Well, decide who's going to lead then.
Well, it's probably not the kid.
I don't know. Suddenly you're making all the action decisions.
Yeah.
That's because a bunch of strangers just come up and got guns and stuff.
All right. Well, we'll just go with whoever
scared.
started trouble then. So can
Yeah. Start with Quinn.
well, everyone needs to roll initiative first to see if Quinn gets any more bonuses. So so it's Dex plus Insight, and the difficulty is 10.
So you rolled that. You roll that.
Yeah, you roll the Dex dice and your Insight dice together, add them up.
Do you take your initiative modifier?
If you have an initiative modifier, you apply.
I do. Okay.
Uh-oh,
So
I
you-
rolled a 4.
You got a 5 from me.
I got 15.
14.
Okay. So
I do not.
Okay, so what? 2 of you got over 10?
Yep.
Okay, so that's an additional +2 to Quinn's initiative roll.
So it's 17.
17. Okay, and their initiative is 10. But it only determines who goes first. So I think since Quinn said what he was doing, he should probably go first. So surprising and horrifying, the thugs and your new compatriots who haven't met you before in equal measure, you hurl yourself over the side of the gangway and just float there, whizzing around, and you command, what's his name?
Drakon.
Drakon, and command Drakon to flame. And it flaps his wings, inhales deeply so his chest is all puffed out, and then goes and vomits a stream of fire at one of these men. Okay, so we need to make an attack roll for him.
I assume it's just roll the dice. The what it says for the attack.
Yeah, it should tell you which dice
Yeah.
is the attack. Yeah.
So it's might and might +3. So he's got. I rolled a 12 and an 8 +3 is like 23.
23. Yeah. So which is the highest dice roll?
The 12.
Okay. So that's 12. And what's the bonus to damage with his
10.
fire breath? 10. Okay. So that's 22 damage to one of the thugs. All right. So a gout of dragon fire engulfs one of the thugs. He screams and starts smacking his hands over himself to try and put himself out. And combat is joined. Right. One of his compatriots turns and fires his little sort of mini black powder blunderbuss in the direction of Drakon. What's his defense score?
Defense is 8.
8. Okay. So they have D10 plus D10. So that's 12. So that's a hit. That is 19 hit points of damage to Dracon.
Okay.
With pets, when they're reduced to 0 hit points, they run away and then they come back on the following scene. Okay, so there's a loud boom. The black powder pistol goes off, and a cloud of nuts, bolts, screws, and fragments of seashell or air shell, I guess, go flying, smack into Dracon. He flaps a couple of times to keep himself up in the air and shakes off a few of the bolts and nails out of his scales. Right, you get to choose one of you guys to go next. Who's up?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, you go, and then I'll go after.
All right. Well, Neil pulls 5 cards from his hand, slaps down 2 pair. 2 pair is double trouble. 2 cards of the same value plus 2 cards of the same value. Damage is equal to 10 plus highest value among resolved cards. So highest value is 7. So that's 17 points of damage to each of up to 2 different enemies I can see that are present on the scene. And the type of damage is, let me see, I can either take ice or fire. I think fire is always nice. So yeah, 17 points of fire to 2 different targets.
Okay.
And it cost me 20 mana points to do that.
I feel like we should probably point out to anyone watching that T-shirt is playing a little custom class that uses cards as part of the mechanic for how it works.
It is the Ace of Cards. You can actually download it from the Fabula Ultima site. It's an officially created class.
I just need to look something up quick because none of us are that familiar with this game yet.
Mm-hmm. I like this game.
I might be playing with my monthly group with this here in a couple weeks.
Nice. Well, I mean, this is good practice for it. And by the way, this is my discard pile. So,
I'm guessing you went after the ones ahead of you.
yeah, I mean, if they're directly in front of us, and
yeah. So yeah, you flip a few cards into the air and fan them out towards them, and bolts of fire flame out from the cards and strike both the thugs. One of them who'd just finished putting out his burning jacket when you set him alight again.
He's having a bad day.
I should have iced him, I suppose, but oh well. These attacks get expensive, though. That was 20 mana points right there.
Yeah. One of the thugs behind you levels his pistol and fires as well into the back of you. He decides that Neil is the new current target. All right, so that is Insight Index. What's Neil's defense?
8.
Okay, that is a hit. That is 11 points of damage.
Ouchie.
So yeah.
In that case, I would like to use my crossfire ability.
Jun did ask to go next, or is this an interrupt ability?
This would be an interrupt.
Oh,
Okay.
In other words, I'm literally shooting the shot out of the air with my gun.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what your gun is?
I just have a regular pistol.
Okay.
Nothing too fancy there.
Nothing fancy.
After a creature you see performs a ranged attack, you could spend an amount of mind points equal to the total result of the accuracy check in order to have the attack fail automatically against all targets. I can only use this if I have a ranged weapon equipped and it has no effect. And it has no effect in the accuracy check was a critical success.
Okay. So you need to beat 9 to shoot the shot out of the air.
No, I can spend 9 mind points.
Okay, so spend 9 mind points then.
Yep.
All right, in which case Neil does
Nice.
not take any damage, but because it's a blunderbuss, let's say you see him lining up, draw your pistol and shoot and hit the end of his barrel, knocking it aside, and so he misses in that way. Right. So now it's Jun.
Okay. Now, Jun is going to imbue her blade with air damage, and she is going to go up and slice, cutting with the air as well, into one of the guards or thugs, really.
Do you want to go after the ones coming up behind you, or do you want to finish the 2 off up ahead?
I'm going to the ones behind me.
Okay. So you twist around where the shot came from.
Mhm.
One guy is sort of leaning to the side, holding his pistol, which now has a dent in it. The other one is cocking the hammer back on his one. So you come dashing towards them, make your attack.
Okay.
Defense is 9.
Okay. Defense is 9. Says if you imbue weapon with elemental energy, choose the damage type until the spell ends. All damage dealt by the weapon becomes the chosen weapon damage type. If you have that weapon equipped while you cast a spell, you may perform a free attack with it as part of the same action. The
Yeah.
spell can only be cast on a weapon equipped by will. Okay. So with my bronze sword, because of course it's bronze.
Because they're always bronze to start with.
Yeah. Let's see. So I roll might or dex.
Yeah, whatever the weapon dice is, it should tell you might plus might or might plus dex. Melee weapons is often might plus might, but it might be different for you. I don't know.
Let me double check. Sorry about the delay, everyone.
It's fine. It might be
It
on
is
the GM screen.
Just reloading my hand.
Equipment.
You need to get a special deck with like some hot anime girls on it or something.
I mean, well, it wouldn't really matter because it's all just number value cards, no face cards in this deck.
Yeah, but it would be thematic.
Bronze sword,
True.
dex plus might plus 1.
Or you could get like an anime tarot deck.
Yeah.
I thought about a tarot deck. I really did.
Number distribution will be different. Yeah, so dex plus might plus 1.
Dex plus might plus 1.
For me?
Yes.
Oh,
And
okay.
damage
Dex
is
plus
HR
might.
plus 6.
Thank you. Dex plus might plus 1. So D8 and D10. Where's my D10? Here's my D10. That is a 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, so that's a hit. What was the highest roll?
The highest was the 6 on the D10, D8.
Okay, and then add the damage bonus onto that.
That's 11.
Okay, so that's
No,
11
it's plus
damage.
6. It's plus
So
6.
12 damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, your sword does HR plus 6.
Awesome.
And it does...
Physical damage.
Yeah. And you had it set to air, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so you come charging up to this guy, draw back your sword for a long swing. It glows with air magic, and you slice. As you cut across him, the wind buffets him and knocks him into the guy next to him, jostling him, and his clothes sort of tear slightly from the air blast. Right.
Can I spend a Fabula point to have the air buffeting cause him to drop off the edge?
That's kind of extreme.
Okay, no, I won't do it if it's too extreme. I just thought it'd be funny if that worked out that way.
Yeah.
Well, if there's a series of these walkways and we're in the middle of one of them, it stands a reason he could fall onto one just beneath us.
That's what I was thinking.
No, I think that's a bit much for this.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. Yeah, so he recoils from your blow, sort of staggers against the wind blast, and then charges into you, swinging his spiked club. What's your defense?
My defense is D8 plus 11.
So it's plus 11.
Yep. It said that I have a defense of my.
Do you have
deck.
armor?
Yes, I do. I have bronze plates.
Okay, so if you're wearing like heavier armor, then you just use the score from the armor.
Oh, okay, never mind. So it's just
it's
plus 11.
So it's it's 11.
Or just 11.
Yeah. So it's might plus might for him. That's a miss. Yeah, he's still staggered from the wind, swings out with the club, you duck under it, and it swings over the top of your head, leaving him even more unbalanced. So that just leaves... no, sorry, that was Devlin and Bao haven't gone yet.
Correct.
So who wants to go next?
I can. Devlin is going to turn and fire on the guy whose shot he had stopped before, the one that had targeted Niall.
Yep. Okay.
And I'm assuming we're not going to have to make me do stop and reload.
No.
Okay. All right.
Not that kind of game.
That would be an heck.
Bullet delivery.
That would be an 11.
Somebody's going nuts with that doorbell.
It is my nephew. He's obsessed with pressing the doorbell.
Okay, that's a hit. Take the highest roll of the 2 dice and add the damage bonus and tell me what it is.
Let's see, 6 and 8. 14.
14. Okay. All right. So you follow up with a second shot, a glancing blow across his arm just above from where the pistol is. Right. And they've all gone, I think, which means
I still have to go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we went straight to fire, I'm going to grab a dragon's napalm. All right, give me a quick area update.
Okay, so you guys started in the middle of this gangway when these guys dropped down from either side.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of the 2 sets of thugs have really moved, other than sort of staggering back and forth and being on fire. But Jun has closed the gap between her and the thugs at the rear, and so is in sort of melee range with them. And Quinn is floating and flying off the side of the gangway.
Okay, which side of the gangway is on fire? Where people are on fire?
The people are on fire at the end in the direction to which you are heading.
Oh. Well, yeah, I don't want to. So, the direction we're heading, there's one person on fire. Is there another person who's not on fire?
They're both smoldering, smoking. They're both somewhat on fire.
All right. Well, this is damage, fire, area of effect, status on a success. Target gains the burning condition. Effect lasts for 1d4 rounds. Mm-hmm. So I have to hit them with my. Is that going to be Dex and Insight because it's ranged?
Probably Dex and Insight. Yeah.
All right. And then so that's a 12.
Okay. So yeah, it flies over and smashes on the ground between them and explodes outwards in fire. So how much damage does it do?
That I don't know. Where'd that didn't.
You're an artificer, aren't you?
Yeah, I think it's just 1d6.
It's usually not random damage, so that means.
Oh, right. No, that's the. Let me look at the. Shit, where did I put that?
Tinkerer, isn't it? Yeah, alchemy.
Here we go. Yeah, so it can be like 20. There's the Tinkerer effect.
Yeah, so if you spend 5 inventory points, then you roll 4 d20s and assign 1 to target and 1 to effect.
Well, how do I create set things?
Okay, so the inventory actions are for rapidly crafting things with powerful but unpredictable effects.
Well, I sent you a list of things that I wanted to have in advance that were like, these were the things that I knew how to make.
Okay, well, let's go with a basic effect then.
All right.
With
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I'm just starting out.
Yeah.
So whatever, like a basic fire.
Yeah. Okay, roll 2 d20s.
Oh, of course I put those away.
Yeah, I think you're the only thing that uses d20s. So.
Interesting. Okay, 2 d20s, 14 and 3.
Okay. Okay, so it hits one of them, but does 20 damage, 20 fire damage.
Okay.
Okay, so instead of landing between them and exploding, it strikes the first thug full in the chest. The vial shatters, and he is abruptly incinerated. There's a huge blinding flare of fire with chemical color tinges to it, and then a blackened skeleton tumbles to the ground, smoking.
All right.
All right.
The smell of victory.
Well, smell of bacon.
Yeah.
So everyone's gone. So new turn. Keep the same initiative. Might as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So who wants to go first?
Oh, me. Definitely me. I have a peach of a hand.
I do have an initiative of -3, so I don't think I'll go first for most things.
It's your side that goes first, but you can choose whoever.
Oh, okay.
May I go
Would
first?
you want to do that? I don't see anyone objecting. So go for it.
Magic Flush. Deal 25 or deal damage equal to 25 plus the total value of the resolved cards to each enemy present on the scene. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So for a total of 47 points of damage to each enemy present on the scene. And that is earth damage. Because why not?
Okay.
Rocks fall, everybody dies.
So what, you just stomp onto our little bridge as the whole thing flops around?
Well, I mean, I could have made it air damage or fire damage, I guess. But
We've got to think in a more sort of anime style here. So yeah, you flip the cards out of the stack, snatch them out of the air, sort of look at them, slyly look at the thugs, and then present your cards and say "Earth Flush" or something.
Basically, you are flushed.
out of the open air, several large boulders come flying in from one side of the gangway and sweep 2 of the thugs off into the darkness, smacking the last one with a glancing blow that leaves him with 1 hit point. He spins around and around, staggers dizzily, realizes he's the only one standing and he's vastly outmatched, and tries to escape, running back the way he came. Do you want to stop him, finish him off, or are you going to let him go to warn others that you're not to be fucked with?
Oh, I want to shoot him with a sleep gas bomb.
Okay. Make a ranged attack roll.
Are we going to kidnap him?
No.
The party got a new pet.
10.
Okay, that's enough to hit him in the back. However, he rolls really well, probably due to all the adrenaline and so on in his system. So the vial smashes a cloud of bluish purple smoke. It bursts out all around him. But by the time the smoke clears, he's gone, just leaving a trail of blood and urine in his wake.
All right.
I thought I'd throw a fight in straight away so we could all get used to the system.
Boy,
Yeah.
I didn't even use my gourmet skills.
Well, there is a couple. Well, there is a cooked body. If you want to use your food skills,
I'm good, thanks.
not going to succumb to cannibalism in the first session.
Nah, not just yet. Wait till a party member dies.
Wait till
Okay.
Ash's butt number.
Are the two guys who are falling? Are they dead?
Who knows? There is
Well, I know because we're following them.
Well, they took 47 points of damage. I'm pretty sure. I mean, we couldn't take that.
you
Me and
dive
Jack are
down.
following.
You dive down after one of the tumbling bodies. Make a Dex plus Might roll to catch up to it.
Okay, well, it's not really me that's catching them. It's going to be Dracon because I'm going to let him eat one of them. 15.
15. Good enough. All right, so he stoops and dives down through the air, disappearing with a little puff of moisture into the cloud banks that aren't that far below from this place, and then a short time later reemerges carrying an arm.
Yeah, I gotta let Dracon have something to eat. So
Yeah. All right.
Nice not wanting it.
Dracon flaps over, perches on one of the wooden piles at the end of the walkway, and you all watch in fascination and horror as he bites down on the bloodied stump at one end of the arm and then proceeds to wolf the whole thing down like an anaconda swallowing a particularly long pig.
I'm just calmly reshuffling my cards.
Well, that was slightly disturbing.
June just like flicks the blood off of her sword.
I'll fly over by Dracon and pat him on the head. Good boy. Good boy.
He,
Don't gamble with me. It's a losing proposition.
he purrs and leans into your hand. But there should be nothing else in the way for you to get to Burke's little hideaway.
What do we know about Burke?
Burke is a pirate boss, but fairly low ranking in the Poseidon. Semi-independent, more of an information broker than anything else. He used to be a bursar on one of the big pirate ships, but for as long as anyone can remember, really, he's just sat here lurking in his little den and using information to manipulate the world around him and earn a crust without having to really move at all.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he never got over the fact that he used to steal corpses and sell them to doctors.
Possibly. All right. So you finish crossing. This is the last and smallest island in the archipelago. Burke's little den is hidden away in a cave here. So you sort of duck in under the entrance through a leather curtain and into the interior, which is surprisingly snug and dry. Dry isn't a sensation you feel much in the Rintik's teeth because the mist gets kind of everywhere. but you see that there's a couple of wind crystals sort of set around the entrance, which seem to be keeping the mist and the moisture out and keeping the interior pleasant. The interior is stuffed. If he was poor, you would probably reckon that Burke was a hoarder. But given that a lot of it is treasure and art and artifacts and devices and other things that he's collected over the years, he's a rich hoarder. Yeah, so it's a collection. It's a museum of sorts, museum of crime.
Interesting.
From one of the little back halls comes a albino furred person with great big, enormous scoop-like ears either side of their head, a pig-like snout, sharp, pointy teeth, and little vestigial wings running from their arms down to the sides of their body. They wear black thieves' leather covered in pouches that would make, Deadpool pause and go, that's a lot of pouches.
Clearly drawn by Todd McFarlane.
Rob
Liefeld, yeah.
Are we taken aback by this thing? Is there potentially something we know is horrifying? And should I blast it?
There are bat folk. You don't tend to see them that often. They tend to live on the underside of islands rather than on the top. And you've never seen an albino one.
Burke is waiting for you inside. Please follow me.
Okay, I follow.
All right.
You are the people Burke sent for, yes?
Yes.
Well, you would hope so now that you've already invited us in. But good thing that we are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm confident I could deal with any trouble. You must be...
We're not.
Now, it's Neo, Jun, Devlin, and Quinn, and his little pet, yes?
Well, regardless of whether or not the invitation was sent to me, I have it.
Quite. And, Devlin, you have a ship of sorts?
Not exactly one I would be quick to brag about, but yes. I've got a little something to get. It gets me where I need to go.
And, Neil, you have a noodle shop that flies, yes?
Oh, yeah. Can't miss it.
Good. Excellent. Here, Burke's chamber. I will wait out here.
And he opens an actual door for you to go through.
Your sprite green screened.
Right.
Judd enters through the door.
Is that MP juice?
Inside is a rough-hewn cave, but the floor is piled high with carpets. There's a big swing-back leather chair with an impressively lardy lump of an older man sat in it, with a long, wispy white beard and moustache, and he dresses like a pimp with bad taste for pimps. So, leopard skins and bright colors and feathers in his oversized hat. His chubby sausage fingers drip with gold rings. There are chains around his neck.
He's a pimp named Pigback.
Could be.
Hello, come in, sit down. There's no chairs, but the floor will do.
Okay, I sit down.
Any trouble?
What do you mean?
Getting here.
You've been expecting trouble?
There's always trouble.
Feels like maybe we were set up.
Why? Something happened?
Nothing we know.
Just the toll collectors at the bridge.
Troublesome. They shouldn't
Not
come into
anymore.
my territory.
Your name was no protection.
Well, we will have to do something about that, shan't we?
Consider it a courtesy of us to have dealt with that riffraff for you.
No one got away.
Well, one delivers a message.
Quite. That's a good way to think. Yes. Makes me think I made the right choice here.
I step out of the way so he can see Dracon, who's still like chewing on the hand. I don't think.
Yeah,
he's
he's regurgitated a couple of fingers and is just chewing on them.
Suckling the gristle off of the knuckle bones.
Spit out some little ring that was on its pinky finger.
Yeah.
All bad guys.
Side and...
All bad guys have to have a pinky ring. That's a rule.
Dracon turns his head to one side and spits a fingernail into a spittoon. Pang!
Charming. The rumors were true then. You have a pet.
Oh, yeah. He's my brother.
Yes. So the story goes you were raised by dragons?
Yeah.
Fascinating. And is it true you can fly?
Yeah. Float up in the air.
That's true.
Oh, very interesting. I've seen some alchemists attempt to do the same, but it usually ends in a rather messy explosion.
Oh, no. Mom just, threw me out of the nest. And along with Dracon, we had to figure out how to fly or hit the ground.
In my experience, it seems as though it's easy to start flying. It's difficult to
freeze.
Freeze in mid-sentence.
Freeze in mid-sentence.
It's pretty easy to do. Wow, he's stuck.
I think Ironcaster needs to shut his monitor off or his camera off so he doesn't have so much bandwidth being used.
He's back, I think.
He's always having these problems.
How do we sound?
You're fine.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, they go up and up and up, but you don't really see them again.
Yes. Right, to business, gentlemen. Can I offer you a libation at all?
Absolutely.
There's some wine in the box there and some cups. Help yourself.
Boxed wine.
Grim, are there any plants or small animals in here?
There are no plants. There are a couple of lizards skittering around on the walls.
Oh, cool. I'll go talk to the lizards.
Okay. Well, while the wine is being passed out, you walk over and speak to.
I am not partaking of the wine. I'm only 16.
Okay.
I'm a youngin. I'm not into.
You are on a pirate island. If you're going to start drinking, now's the time.
If.
So you speak the beast tongue. You speak several other languages, don't you? Or
yeah, I can speak to everything except for undead.
they don't generally have much to say other than brains, so you're not missing out on any scintillating conversation. All right, you head on over to one of the lizards and say hello. It stops as it was skittering across the wall and twists its head round and looks at you and blinks first one eye and then the other. Hello.
Is there anything interesting in here?
Sometimes there are beetles.
Does water come in here?
Sometimes he leaves drink out and we sup upon it. But the beetles are quite juicy. We don't need much water.
Oh, okay. Could you tell me if somebody comes in the room and we don't see them?
Sure.
I can get you some beetles for doing that.
Oh, right. I'm on it, boss.
And he scuttles up and sort of hangs vertically from the ceiling, looking around. Your own little lizard CCTV. All right, the wine is passed around. It's well, as far as any of you know, it's good wine. You assume it is. It's probably been stolen from somewhere wealthy, so that's pretty good.
Right, as I said, to business. There is a shogunate outpost and has drifted into our area of influence. It's not something I particularly like having close to us.
Who are they?
The Shogunate, they are an empire in the sway of their own hubris and
What's
dead
hubris?
minds that came before. Is this going to be one of those nested explanation things? Hubris is overconfidence in one's own abilities, the consideration that one is invulnerable, unassailable.
Oh, so
But,
like adult dragons. Okay, I get it. Thank you.
Kind of like
Yes.
me, except it's true.
quite. Well, we shall see about that. Anyway, this outpost, we would have dealt with it already, save that a new ship arrived there not so long ago. So we didn't particularly want to attack. However, I have it on good authority that the crew of that ship fell ill, and the ship, being a plague hulk, has been left there, ripe for the picking, provided it's taken away before it's considered safe, before a new crew arrives. But it is at this outpost, and it would be wonderful if this ship were liberated.
I don't.
You
see
want us to go
people
steal a
complaining-
Shogunate ship, huh?
Yes, Devlin, you were about to say something.
I don't see too many people complaining about a missing plague ship too much. In fact, I think they'll be more than happy to see it disappear.
Yes, of course, I also have it on good authority that it wasn't a plague at all, but that rather their food supplies were poisoned.
Oh, dear.
So there is no disease to be concerned about on your part. If you take the ship, you may keep it.
What? Wait a minute. Why are you being so generous? Why? Wait a minute. The Shogunate. So what are the repercussions of stealing a Shogunate ship?
The Shogunate will be rather upset with you, I would imagine. May try to reclaim it.
That almost sounds exciting.
Quite. Of course, you would owe me a few favors for such a big reward as a flying vessel of such modern vintage.
Wait a minute. I know I'm just a kid, but that sounds like we're doing all the work, and then you're going to take some stuff from us. That's not fair.
No.
Oh.
You will get the ship, and
Yeah.
you will owe
But
me
we're
some
already getting the
small
ship.
favors.
But we're getting the ship. We're going to go get the ship. You're not
Yes.
doing shit all.
I have told you where the ship is. I can
Why don't you
provide
just fly
you.
over there and see the ship?
I can provide you a magic compass, which will lead you to the outpost. I have the intelligence about the ship, and my agents poisoned the crew.
Ooh.
I have moved all of these pieces, including yourselves, into position. So now it is just up to you to bring the plan to full execution.
Oh, I don't
Well, I've
know.
always wanted a ship, and yeah, let's go get it. What kind of
Yes.
armament?
You'll find out when you find out. Mr. Quinn, not everyone here can fly unassisted, and so a vessel is necessary, and a modern military vessel should be very useful to a young band of miscreants and pirates just setting out into the world, don't you think?
I'm a legitimate noodle shop owner.
I am not a
Thank you.
pirate.
And I am a mere purveyor of information.
I am a miscreant, though. So perhaps we have a similar sympathetic wavelength here.
Think of the opportunity to make things explode, Mr. Bow.
I am. That's exactly what I'm thinking about.
Yes, quite.
Aerial bombardment.
Yes. Think of it.
Please don't blow up our ship, though. If you blow up our prize, we don't have anything.
The other way around. You're missing. No, 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 no. Once you have the ship, then you do the aerial bombardments. I'm seeing paths of potential that I had not considered earlier.
Aren't you like 16?
I am, but that
Yeah, but
what does that have to do with art?
Well then,
Right. I haven't had many considerations in the consideration of how many considerations people have over a lifetime. So correct. I have not considered this before because there just hasn't been as many things to consider yet.
well then, we have a gentleman's agreement. You will liberate this vessel and take to the highest skies to plunder and steal and get into misadventures, whilst occasionally doing me small favors here and there. And I will be rewarded by the fact that I gain new agents to operate for me out there in the mists and the clouds, and the Shogunate gets a little warning.
Oh,
Us.
now we're beginning to get to the crux of the story, the nut to the kernel.
Yes.
What's your beef with the Shogunate?
They are authoritarians. They have no sense of humor. They have no latitude or little latitude for crime.
You've never been in a guild, have you?
A pirate gang is not dissimilar to a guild, just perhaps slightly more honest, Mr. Bao.
Their cuisine is all right. I mean, it's a little too umami for my taste, but, I like spice.
Grim,
I
can you
tend
look
to
at the
prefer
chart?
things cooked. Yes. You could bring in your other characters if you wanted by just swapping out and saying there's someone else who's hired, and you can stay behind.
I'm just saying is, it sounds more like a job for Rowan this than the kid, and
Yep.
but it'd give you a good time to bring him in now.
Yeah,
So-
if you want to swap out, you can.
Since we're like taking this kind of expository pause here real quick. So yeah, that was something we'd started talking a bit about before the stream, was how to do this, and I had kind of felt exactly what has just been brought up. What Mal just said is, we get, once the things start, once we have a ship, we'll have X number of crew. We won't necessarily know everybody's on who, and that allows this kind of new people coming in and out and making this adjustment as we're playing of, oh, hey, this is actually a better opportunity for my backup character.
Yeah. And the other idea is for you to have a backup character that you're at least somewhat invested in case something happens to one of your other characters, or you want to make a heroic sacrifice, or whatever the case might be.
Cool.
Right. So the boy will wait here with me. I wish to hear everything about flying, and I will send one of my low-level enforcers with you. He will meet you by your flying noodle shop and your other boat. His name is Rowan. You can't miss him. He's a large, older gentleman, and he has good reason to hate the Shogunate, so he will be a staunch ally, I'm sure. We have an agreement. Please finish your wine and depart. Now, boy, tell me about these dragons.
Well, do we have a chance to rest?
Yes. Let's
Good.
check the resting rules.
You regain all your HP and MP, which is the main thing I'm after. But also, if we're resting inside of a settlement, I also gain ingredients.
Right, resting in the wilderness? No. Resting in a settlement? While in a village, town, or city, characters must have access to one of the following:
a room inside an inn, which will cost money, or hospitality from someone friendly, usually in exchange for help or money. Well, Burke can arrange rooms for you, but that will be an additional favor. Yeah, you can pick up ingredients. If anyone's used any inventory points, they can renew those. And we can have a little getting to know each other scene and have Rowan join you and introduce himself at whatever inn Burke sends you to. And then you can develop some bonds.
Okay.
So get to know each other. Let me just look those up quickly. When the heroes rest, there's a chance for calmer, more intimate role-playing. This is known as a resting scene. During this type of scene, players can spend some time role-playing conversations and describing what their characters do while sitting near the campfire or relaxing around the town. At the end of a resting scene, you can create a bond, add a new emotion to an existing bond, erase an emotion from an existing bond, and replace it with a different one. When you add new bonds or change their emotions, describe how and why your character's view of others has shifted. And bonds... Okay, you can have up to 3 levels of bond with one person.
Mm-hmm.
And they have both positive and negative things associated with them. I'm not sure how it looks on the character sheet. It's probably there somewhere. But you can admire someone or consider yourself inferior and weak compared to them. You can be loyal to someone or mistrust someone. You can have affection for someone or you can hate them. So, like an absolute enemy, you might feel inferior, mistrust them, and hate them. And that would be a bond of 3.
Well,
Okay.
I have at one point of admiration for Devlin after his marksmanship skill.
Okay. Well, let's do the whole scene. So you've got...
Wait, I have a question before we move to the next scene, because I'd like to finish up with Burke real quick.
Yeah.
I would like to... So explain to me, what is the exchange rate on favors? Small, medium, big, and into a currency like the Zenix, so I can understand the entirety of what we're about to do.
Favors are more subjective, Mr. Bow. They do not have an exact or precise monetary value. I will consider you to owe me several small to medium-sized favors. That may mean doing little jobs for me here and there, acquiring things, carrying information from one place to another, eliminating threats, that sort of thing.
So you hear where my concern is, right?
You don't know the exact value of the favors, but this is how the pirate guilds have operated since time immemorial, Mr. Bow. Things are not about to change so easily for you, but you'll find my reputation is that I'm a reasonable man, as generous in spirit as I am in girth.
Wow. Well, all right. Let's go and find ourselves a place to meet up with your man.
Okay. Screen wipe. The Jellyfish Tavern and Inn. Burke has arranged for you to have some rooms here and for you to be given drink and food in a reasonable amount. Anything more than that, you'll have to pay more. So do you want to explain your ingredients thing to us?
Do I?
For Neil. Yeah, well, you said you wanted to get some ingredients, so...
Oh, no, that's part of my class.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like when you rest inside a settlement, you gain skill level in ingredients.
And what's your skill level?
1, so I only get 1 ingredient. It's not much, but I mean, my skill level's low right now.
And ingredients are sorted by flavor type, is that right?
Yes. Bitter, salty, sour, sweet, and umami.
So which one of those do you want to get?
Oh, you don't get to pick.
You don't get
As far as
pick, is it?
as far as I know, they're random. So I got an umami one.
Okay.
But the nice thing is, well, I don't actually have to cook these things. I can prepare delicacies ahead of time if I want to, or I can make them on the fly during combat, which is honestly more fun, I think. So.
Flaming wok attack.
Well, basically, yeah, I'm just sitting here, cooking up noodles and just pouring stuff in and then throwing it at people, and it works.
So you pick up a bag of bat ear mushrooms. So yeah, you have an ingredient point of appropriate type. Okay then. So yeah, you sit around in the inn, nursing your stir fry or whatever else it is that you're eating and drinking away. So you can make bonds and some soft roleplay, and Rowan turns up, sent by Burke. At least you assume this towering, muscular man must be Rowan.
Oh, Niall's making some noodles. Of course,
Not letting
it's
someone else cook for you.
and of course, offering it to others.
I eat. I'm 16 years old. I'm a bottomless pit.
June takes a bowl and eats it quite nicely, as like no outworlder you ever see eat this way.
That's a
Eating
woman
in
who really
public.
enjoys her noodles. You're muted. Strangely, you came unplugged again, Ironcaster.
No,
Yeah,
it's
you're
just
muted,
Bork.
man.
You're muted.
I don't know why it keeps doing this.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, there you are. Well, anybody who's watching Niall cook is basically his specialty is knife cut noodles.
Okay. Wow.
partic-
Yum. You're
This,
right.
this particular
Warm,
variety.
soupy feelings, man. Like, I love soupy noodles. That's like one of my favorite things in the world. The only thing better than that is actually soup dumplings. Can you do soup dumplings? I love soup dumplings. But these are good. Are really good hand-cut soupy noodles. Yeah, awesome.
You need to give him more noodles to fill his mouth so he can't talk.
Yeah, basically, yeah. That's kind of what Niall's going to do. Is like, oh, I'm glad you liked him. Here, have this spicy chili noodles, and stuffs them in his face.
Does anyone else want to talk? Soft RP? Do anything around the table? Does Rowan want to introduce himself?
Yeah, the from outside, you guys hear a jet engine sound and a large crunch, and then a few minutes later, Rowan walks in. It's white hair, white beard, older guy, lots of muscle though. You four, hey, you the ones Burke wants me to,
That's
babysit?
us.
Yeah,
Guilty.
Babysit?
Stuff.
yeah. He's got some mission he wants you to do, and I got to tag along.
Well, I mean, you don't have to.
No, I have to. He told me to.
Wait, you don't know why you're here?
No, didn't tell me shit.
This is a weird guy, man.
He's the boss, man. He says show up and show up. Here I am.
That
We're
does
gonna
sound
go
like
get a
Burke
ship.
to me.
So, yeah, we're gonna go steal a ship. What do you think of that?
Well, I think we steal a lot of stuff for Burke.
Oh, but this isn't for Burke. This is for us.
Oh, well, whatever your arrangement is.
Well, let's be fair though. Anything we're doing that involves him is ultimately for him.
True.
At least
You know,
until it double cross him and you can.
In the grand scheme of things, you think about it. You making these noodles is for Burke.
That kid out there, is he with you too? Like all the way here, he was flying around my power armor like it was nothing, smacking me in the head and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's with us.
He's out there chasing birds right now.
Yeah.
Why are you so muscular if you wear power armor?
It's more like an exoskeleton. It's assisted.
Huh.
So it takes a lot of muscle to move it.
Interesting. I seem to recall having met some woman who I shouldn't say anymore, but she's a bit like you.
Okay.
In
So-
the tech wise. Anyways.
So you guys have a plan to go capture this ship?
Yeah, that's the plan. We capture it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
much.
Already ready to go. It's just waiting for us. That's what we were told. We just had to go there. Everybody was gone. We need to get on board before the next crew shows up and sail away.
So how are you actually getting there? Like it's not, you got to fly over there somehow.
We have some
You
available transport.
you guys like the kid? You just fly
Now-
around like that kid?
I guess the question we should, if we were going to discuss this, if we want to get close to this ship, we got to make sure that we got to look into the security for just how tightly is this thing being guarded. And
Well, it's a plague ship.
still,
Yes.
these things usually have some sort of guards around them. They tend to not want people onto them.
No, usually what they do with a plague ship is they make it anchor out into the middle of the bay or on the end of the pier. They don't guard them because what kind of idiot would want to go onto a plague ship?
Yeah, they just park it right next to the nearest restaurant.
Well, how far away did he say this thing was? He gave you guys the details, right?
Nope, not me.
He did give you the magic compass, which will point you
Oh, right.
to it.
We've got the magic compass.
Right. So I've been thinking about this because it's a bit of a problem in a world made up of floating islands that are in constant motion. So how do you find your way anywhere?
Yeah.
So there are certain regions of the sky that are more permanent fixtures. Think like Jupiter's storms and whatever. But the other thing you can use to navigate is a magic compass. So you buy these as blanks, then you take some soil or a stone from whatever island you want it to point towards. You put that in the little slot, and from then on, it will point towards that island. So you can all be assumed to have a magic compass that points to your home where you came from.
So we should be collecting soil from everywhere that we go so we know how to get back and forth and navigate. So instead
Anywhere
of
you want to get
being
back to.
charts of currents in the sky and the movement of the islands, you just use. So there's like got to be a side business in selling destination pieces of dirt.
Yeah, and ripping people off by selling them pieces of dirt and rock that don't actually lead anywhere. Of course, the advantage is if you find like a super secret island, then if you're the only ones who have the compass, if you're the only ones who have the samples that lead there, unless someone stumbles on it by pure chance, they're not going to find it. So,
Okay.
Side quest.
yeah. And I imagine I've spent too much time thinking about this, but I imagine that in ships, like in the navigators area where you normally have maps and things, I mean, you're still going to have charts because there are permanent or semi-permanent features in the skies. But you have like an apothecary's rack of little drawers full of all kinds of soil and rock samples.
That's
So,
exactly
right, we want to
what
go
I-
there, right? This drawer into the compass, and away you go.
Very cool.
So did he say how far away it was? You got
Nope.
a compass. Days travel.
Compass can
weeks
only,
travel?
compass can only give you bearing. It can't tell you how far.
Yeah, no, I was asking the characters.
Yeah.
So
Would anyone have a problem if Devlin is holding onto the compass for this?
Not at all.
Not me.
Okay. He's kind of built to be. He was made with the intention of being a navigator, so it just stands the reason that he would be holding on to that.
Absolutely.
It's like, bro, I'm going to have to insist that you stop asking us plot-related questions that we can't answer.
Okay. Well, so in essence, where we are, Rowan, is that Niall has a noodle boat. He goes around and sells his noodles, and we have a compass that Devlin is holding on to. And between those two things, we'll know the general bearing and direction. I don't know if it gives us elevation or not, but I'm sure once it starts spinning around, we'll know we're either on top of it or below it. So that's where we are.
Well, we do have another boat, but I think the noodle boat's a bit more impressive than my own.
Oh, I thought you had like a single person skiff kind of thing.
But yes,
Yeah, kind of.
I mean it would, assuming we use the noodle boat to as a cover to get close, we could then use mine to ferry over under the dark of night. It'll be a lot harder to be seen on it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The way I figure things, so the noodle boat is a slow-moving, not particularly great ship for general stuff, because it's meant to float around and sell noodles. But it'll do for the start of the game. So part of the reason I made the first thing for you to be stealing a proper ship.
Yeah.
It'll do X3 distance. So
Yeah. But it's it's not built for combat and adventuring.
no, not really.
Is my point.
Yeah. It'll hold 20 people though. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think
So-
I think Devlin will probably go to check out the navigational area with the ship to see, what he might be able to do. And given one of his abilities is well traveled, he can reduce reduce travel time.
Yeah.
He can probably
She's built like a steakhouse, but handles like a bistro.
I was gonna make that joke.
I can't do a Zach Brannigan voice though.
It's a steakhouse, but it handles like a bistro.
It's pretty good. All right. Well, I think that's as much as we're going to get out of this. So, having had a slap-up meal and a rest, everyone can have any hit points and magic points back that they spent.
Yay!
Yay!
You got your ingredients. No one used any inventory points. Does anyone want to create bonds? You may create bonds with Burke if you want, since he's now your sponsor.
I actually created a bond with Devlin of admiration and a bond with Bao of mistrust because the dude blows things up and he's 16 years old. These are not what I would call responsible combinations.
Well, I'm going to develop a bond with Niall because I just stuffed my face with more noodles than I've ever had at one time. Full belly makes me feel good.
So admiration?
Yeah.
I think Devlin might as well also have a bond of affection with Niall for the noodles. It's like, these are some good noodles.
Thank you.
All right. So, the following day, and no, I have no idea how day and night works when there's no actual solid planet. Somehow. But the following day...
As far as we know, we've never gone all the way down.
Nor all the way up.
Right.
Yeah. So you pile on board Neil's floating restaurant. Does it have a name?
Yes. It's Neil's House of Noodles.
Ah, very creative.
I mean, that's just what I could come up with on the cuff.
Does it have fake plastic food in all the windows?
I
Or
mean,
guess wax
bowls of noodles.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is noodle themed on this.
When I was stationed in Japan back in the late 80s, and the amazing replications of food, and you didn't need a menu. That was the whole deal. Is that you just knew what the food looked like because it was in the window.
And you pointed to it.
One of those. I imagine the whole place smells of the various broths and so on that you cook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Is it like a central kitchen with like a bar around the outside? Maybe.
Yeah, basically. There's like sitting areas on the outside and upper floors for actual internal dining, and my, of course, personal living quarters.
Yeah. And it's held up in the air by some floating rocks underneath
Mm-hmm.
and by the big jellyfish looking balloons. Yeah.
Yes, big jellyfish noodle-looking balloons.
Okay. And you can steer either by propeller or flappy wings or other devices you can come up
Propeller.
with.
It's a very discreet propeller system because
All right.
It's got little
So-
tassels hanging up. It's got little tassels hanging off the back that look like actual individual noodles as well. So when it spins, they're just you get this little spiral
noodle
noodles.
streamer. Yeah. Everything is noodle themed on this. I mean, this is the loudest, most aggressively noodle ship ever. That's its big downfall. It's so easily recognizable. It's not disguisable at all.
Yeah. Lots of red and gold decorations.
Oh yeah, it's gaudy. It attracts the eye. I want people to be coming.
Nudes by Niall.
Yes, I thought about that actually. Nudes by Niall.
Don't send
Niall's nudes.
We'll bring nudes to you.
I should call our group the Ramen Raiders. Yes, we should.
Right.
Just change my name to Uzumaki.
All right, let's experiment with clocks and with the travel rules, shall we?
Good, because I can take advantage of both of those things.
All right. So let's see. Travel.
Just let me know how many travel rolls we make because I get ingredients for that.
Okay.
I guess I just pick them off the rocks as we go. I don't know.
Does anyone have any other special rules that interact with travel rules?
I do. I have well traveled, which will reduce the dice for travel rolls one size.
Okay, cool. All right.
And not that it matters too much, but I also will recover inventory points after every travel roll.
Okay. So let's see. Not going to make it the most dangerous. You are leaving the dangerous area, which is Rintik's Teeth. But this is Borderland and it is pirate territory, so the threat level would normally be high. Your special ability reduces that die type by 1. So roll a d10, please.
2.
Okay. No discoveries, no danger. And now make a piloting roll.
And that would be what?
I would imagine Dex and Insight.
No, perfect. D10s. 8 and 2 for 10.
Okay. 1 sec. We will get better at knowing the rules inherently.
It is our first night.
Yeah, we've only played it once before.
We definitely have more complicated characters.
So unless stopped by an encounter danger, the characters proceed to the next travel day, go back to step 1, or reach their destination.
Yeah. So I've created a 6-tick clock, but I need to find the open test rules to figure out how many ticks you fill in. Maybe it's in the contents. options. Is it under projects? Might be under projects.
Maybe page 111 for danger clocks.
Maybe, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Okay, that doesn't actually tell me what the rolls do. I know I saw something about how many ticks. Points, character level, checks. Opportunities, attribute checks, difficulty levels, checks in play, accuracy. Open checks. Okay, so difficulty is going to be normal, which is 10. So you rolled a 10. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So you've made it some of the way with no difficulty. Make the encounter roll again. Same D10.
Yep. Another 2.
Okay, and now make the piloting roll again.
Let's see, 6 and 8 for 14.
Okay, that's high enough to take 2 ticks off. So you managed to maneuver the restaurant into a nice, fast airstream, taking you the right way. So there's been 2 travel checks, call them days, I guess, so far. Right, make another encounter check.
Well, they don't have to be days, right? I mean, a
They don't
tick
have
is
to be days. It could be whatever, but I'm deciding it's days.
okay.
7.
Okay, so that means you run into a danger of some kind, but can you still make the piloting roll again?
Tap the dice.
Oh, how many traveling rolls did we get in total?
I will let you know when we finish traveling.
Okay.
6 and 7 for 13.
Okay, so that's another 2. Let's finish the travel rolls now. So do another one for me.
For 1 or 2?
Just a D10.
8.
Okay, so that's another danger. And make the piloting rolls.
9 and 4 for 13.
Okay, so that takes you the rest of the way. So there were 4 travel rolls, T-shirt.
Okay, so that's 4 times 2. That's the number of ingredients I get.
So he's like hanging off the back of the ship like a fishing pole, trying to catch some skyfish.
and they're all random, so
yeah. And occasionally, like bundles of floating weed will float by, like great big strands of kelp floating on balloons. Yeah, plenty of chance to grab stuff. Stuff probably ends up growing on your restaurant as well, because anything that floats around picks up seeds and pollen. And
we picked up some fresh mushrooms off the restaurant. Have some.
Yes.
There's an equivalent of barnacles, I'm sure.
Yes.
Can you give us an overview of what we just did mechanically so that we're familiar with it?
Okay. So when you're traveling, travel areas come with different degrees of danger. And depending on the degree of danger, you roll a travel dice. And so that ranges from D6 typically up to D12. You roll the dice. If you roll a 1, then you make a discovery, which is usually something good. If you roll 6 or more on the dice, then you encounter a danger of some kind while you're traveling. Some people have special abilities that allow them to scavenge or pick up debris or to fish and find food or whatever as they're traveling. So you have to take that into account as well. I made a series of piloting rolls. The difficulty on them was 10. So where Devlin got 10 or more, he got a success. If he rolled 13 or more, he got 2 successes off the 6 ticks that I had. And it took a total of 4 days, because I decided it was days, for you to arrive. But meanwhile, we have a couple of dangers to deal with. All right.
Sky crabs.
Sky crabs, yes. Sky squid.
Can everyone make insight plus insight rolls, please?
Insight plus insight. So just roll my.
13.
Just roll your D8 twice.
Yep.
Okay.
Just tell me who gets the highest.
Don't add them together, right?
Yeah, you add them together.
Okay. So it's 11 for me.
I got a 9.
Is this an accuracy check? I need to know
No,
that.
it's an insight
No, it's
roll.
not accuracy. It's an awareness roll, basically.
Okay, awareness.
10.
11.
So who got the highest? June, I think.
13.
I got a 9.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bao. All right. So Bao is hanging out outside on the little sort of railing and walkway that surrounds the restaurant as it flies along through the skies, watching Neil fish, trailing a baited line down into tufts of cloud as you float past them. Neil doesn't even really need to pay that much attention anymore. It's probably got like a string tied to his toe or something. All right, fish. You, however, are fascinated by the whole process and coming up with ideas for sort of aerial depth charges that you could drop into clouds, things like that. So you're looking down, sort of daydreaming about massive, colourful explosions in the clouds, when you see that the thick layer of cloud just ahead of the ship is starting to change colour, turning darker, taking on a sort of reddish, purplish hue, and tendrils of miasma are starting to reach up from the cloud.
Oh, what the hell is that?
My ear.
And I shoot it.
Okay. You grab one of your bombs and fling it out using your cannon or sling or whatever it is that you use to fire them.
Magitech slingshot.
Yeah. So it just hurls out into the void.
One that makes a
drops
big
down.
explosion and bright like a light so that we can get an idea of...
Yeah. It drops down and down and down and detonates just above the thick cloud layer below. You all hear the bang a moment later and see the flash, but it doesn't seem to have had much effect or revealed much of anything, except that this red-purple cloud that is slowly rising up out of the depths is thicker in some places than others. The explosion and the loud bang brings everyone's attention to the fore, and you are all able, if you want to look, to see this thickening of the cloud below you and the way that it's reaching up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this makes a loud gong noise when it explodes.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Yeah. It's just all the power being drained from his house by the doorbell being rung.
So we're looking at these multicolored areas. Does it look like they're all one? Because you made it sound like some areas are darker and then it's not as dark and then another darker area. So does this look like contiguous darkness or does this look like multiple objects causing darkness?
It's one big cloud, but it's moving under its own power against the wind and reaching up and floating up into the path that you're taking.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like an evil sky jellyfish.
Hey, pilot. Hey, Niall. I mean, who's driving this thing? Where's the person in charge?
Well, it's my noodle restaurant, but Devlin's flying it.
Oh, okay. Well, I got a cat to feed. I'll be right back.
Yeah, the ship handles like a dream. If we dreamt of noodles.
There you go.
Or if you dreamt of being a particularly lazy dugong, that's about how it handles. The dugong that the other dugongs look at and go, he's let himself go. Well, I mean, some of you have encountered this before, and probably anyone who travels a lot. This is the fog capitalized. This is this weird stuff that people are seeing more and more often. Living clouds of something that reaches up through the atmosphere, scours islands clean of all life, devours ships. Bad news bears all around.
What? I've never heard of this before. What the hell is this?
Oh, that's not good.
That's bad.
What is it?
I thought this fog was supposed to be out this way. What's it doing here?
I wonder
Well.
if this is what June came out of when she entered this world.
Well,
Alright,
it looks
I'm gonna
hungry,
pop
so I'm going to make a
bigger
special meal
charge
for it.
into it. I want to get one. Let me see. What's my biggest?
June
just
feels
biggest
close to
Big
kinship.
Lord. Dragons napalm. Firebomb with lingering flame. Ignites the area, dealing damage over time. So I'm just going to drop it on it.
All right. Bao leans out over the side of the ship, ignites a bomb and drops it down. It plummets towards the rising purple cloud and detonates, creating a short-lived rain of napalm that falls down through the cloud. Momentarily, where it's burnt through, it sort of evaporates some of the miasma, but it continues to rise relentlessly. The only thing you can really do is try to outrun it, and in a floating restaurant, that's not going to be very easy.
Run away, pilot.
I'm going to kind of look over at Bao and tell him, kid, this is a really beautifully made sampang wooden restaurant, so please avoid using fire.
It was over the side. I did not I threw it over the side. And wait a minute. How do you cook the noodles? Fire, right? So you're saying this thing is not able to sustain. All right. I'm a little confused.
It's in the metal part of the restaurant that's reinforced for it.
How does Devlin, since he's piloting, wish to try and avoid this world-eating cloud?
And you said it was beneath us?
Yeah, and rising up into your path.
It's the nothing.
Well, we're pulling up. We're pulling up. We're starting to tip back and back. The plates and pots on the walls are starting to
shake,
lean. We're gonna try to outrun it.
Okay. By gaining height. Yes. Hello.
I suit up. Up. I'll jump up. Once I'm suited, I'll jump into the air and go behind the restaurant and do the Iron Man push.
Okay. Right. So you, Rowan, make a might plus might roll. And why did you get 10 or more?
Yeah, I got 17.
Okay, so add 1 to Devlin's roll, which is going to be Dex plus Insight.
All right. 4, 6, 7.
+1. Or is that with the +1?
That's with the +1.
Okay. Yeah, this thing does not handle particularly well.
It might be time to reconsider lightening the load a bit.
No problem. Let me help you with that.
Well,
Yeah.
do you wait 1 sec. How much
Okay.
damage can your restaurant take?
It doesn't have a damage total listed.
Okay, so it'll be purely narrative.
Yeah.
Do you want to succeed at a cost?
That's sort of up to Devlin, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We could do that.
Yeah.
Can I
The
spend
cost.
a Fabula point to reroll one of my dice?
Do you have a trait that's useful, applicable?
Well, I was just looking at what it says here for Fabula points.
Yeah.
So let's just spend a Fabula point after performing a check to invoke a. Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. To invoke a trait. Not particularly. Just mostly for renavigation. Let's see, well travel. Nothing here would really work for that.
Okay. I will let you succeed at a cost. The cost will be you have to jettison some stuff to make the restaurant more agile. So a few inconsequential pots and pans and things, but T-shirt will have to sacrifice 1d4 ingredients.
Actually, I'm about to sacrifice some ingredients.
Do you accept the cost?
Sure.
Well,
Yes.
it's Devlin making the roll. It's him who has to decide, even though it affects you.
Yeah, he gets to sacrifice your stuff.
This is
I know.
This is about a simple price that I am more than willing to pay.
Okay. T-shirt
Comes out of my pocket.
Lose one ingredient.
Well, it's either that or your whole restaurant gets eaten. So
Yeah. All right. So you pull back on the control wheel. The restaurant tips. Everything starts to sort of slide and sway and move. But you can tell you're not going to make it, even with Rowan using his Magitech armor to shove the ship along a little bit faster. Then you hit on a brilliant idea. If I pull back a bit more, some of the crap that isn't bolted down will fall out the back. And then that'll lighten the load and you'll be able to move more quickly and get more altitude. And, if Neil really wanted to keep things, he'd have them nailed down or tied off. Anything that's just loose lying around, he can't care about that much. So you pull back even harder. Everyone has to grab onto things.
It's a noodle restaurant, not a goddamn Millennium Falcon.
He should have been smart like me and tied this stuff down on a ship like I did when I tied my ship to the back.
you could have.
Why don't we just dump your ship?
We need that.
I have a last gasp type of response. So I have a gravitational disruptor, the 5-way reversal.
Wait. I haven't got to do anything yet. God damn it.
Well, I want to. All right. What? Do what? Where?
You're going to get away. Okay.
Oh, we are getting away. Oh,
yeah,
well, I wanted to do this
to get away. I'm trying to describe how you're getting away, and you keep interrupting.
They just want to drop shit and blow stuff up.
Well, this is now an experiment. I want to see what this bomb does to it.
Let's see what this does.
You pull back until the restaurant is practically ascending vertically, and a whole bunch of bags and sacks and pots and pans go flying down. Rowan is pushing the ship along, and as you are doing that, one of the windows sort of falls open and flaps, and a sack of rice hits you in the face and then falls away. Then clang! Then a bottle of sake, boom, bowling ball, iron, vill.
Don't ask what I cook with those.
There's a bowling trophy that falls out with them.
Yeah.
All this stuff tumbles away into the void and hits the cloud, which pauses to devour each item just long enough for you to get away. And then it turns its attention towards a small floating rock island.
Are you feeding that thing my stuff?
It got us away, didn't it?
That was pretty amazing. What was that again? The cloud?
The fog.
The fog.
Capitalized.
Is this like a boundary thing? Because we've never had this issue where I'm from.
It pops up on occasion. It's just something you kind of learn to read and kind of watch for. But I didn't think in this part of the Sky Sea that it would have been a problem. This is a rogue out of season appearance.
Wait, they have seasons?
Well, they have a tendency to kind of move around throughout the year.
So we
And
keep
typically,
saying they. There's more than one.
yes, I mean, come on, surely you should know this. Like, there's cumulonimbus clouds. There's the fog clouds. You have uh clouds of birds that will peck your eyes out. There's so much out there. So many
But we don't.
dangers
What?
out there.
No, no, we don't have clouds that peck our eyes out, and we don't run away from clouds where I'm from.
Well, you come from a very strange place because we do.
I think your definition of strange is different than mine.
Okay, so with you flying away, because of timing and the fog being so dangerous, we'll count that as both danger things. But we are at break time, so let's take 15 minutes.
Yep.
And then we'll come back and do the assault and steal the ship. All right. We will be back in about 15 minutes. See you all then.
See you then.
Hey!
Yeah.
Where's my mouse pointer gone? There it is. Okay. Okay. Is everyone back?
Yep.
We're back.
I am.
So, can I...
Noodles.
Noodles. Oh, looky. So I did a quick review of some of the alchemical tinker stuff. So there's two ways that my items work. One are things that I make in advance. And those go through projects. What we were getting confused was how I use inventory.
Okay.
So anybody can use inventory and grab various shit out for various inventory prices. I can use inventory to go, man, I need something useful, but I don't know what it's going to be. And that's what how many points I spend versus how many dice I roll that then
Right.
tell the effects are. Those are the two different types of
Mhm.
items that I can have.
Okay.
So I'm putting together a better way. I also had some of the things off on the
You got a
item
bot, Grim.
fixing that. But those things have to be made individual. They have to be consumables, and they are projects, not grab bag.
Yeah.
They're made exactly the same way as I do some of my delicacies if I'm not making them in combat.
I bet it's exactly the same. Yeah, like most of mine are like 4 to 6 project pies.
Right. The only real difference is instead of spending money on mine, I use ingredients.
Nobody watches us on Twitch anyway, so
What tune was that, by the way?
talk to nobody. The one we were doing was the main theme.
Oh, from Fabula Ultima?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm supposed to have the travel music in the background. There it is. Just really
Yay!
Just want to make sure I can speak over it. Okay. Right. Okay. So on the fourth day, as you carry on chugging through the skies, you finally spot what you take to be the shogunate fortress in the distance, such as it is. It is a mere border outpost from the looks of it. It's been built into a small floating island which hangs below it like a great big sharp shard of rock. There are pipes and machinery and doodads plugged into the rock from the fortress itself, which is sat on top and looks like a sort of squat concrete pagoda. Whatever animal or plant life used to cling to this flying rock has been removed to make room for that. Attached to it are a couple of docking gantries, and attached to one of the, well, more like a docking tube, I guess, than a gantry. But attached to one of them is what you take to be this vessel that you're supposed to be stealing. It's sleek, new looking. The ship itself sort of grows out sideways from a levitation stone that it's built onto. It has a great sharp ramming prow on the front of it that looks like the blade end of a katana, but more pointed.
It's nice, but I bet their kitchen sucks.
And there are a couple of turrets, one above, one below, with small cannons sticking out of them. The levitation stone at the rear of the vessel is covered in intricate-looking coppery constructions in weird runic patterns. You're not entirely sure what they do. Those of you with some magical knowledge, which is only Neil,
And Bao.
June is an elementalist, kind of, sort
Oh,
of.
you are an analyst. All right. Okay. So those rune patterns look like techno magic to you. A fusion of magic and technology, which is unpredictable, but often powerful. Apart from the sharp prow, which is pretty much bare metal, the rest of the vessel is painted to blend in with the sky, a sort of blue-grey that will make it hard to spot from a distance. It looks all too perfect to be used as a pirate vessel. Plenty of room for crew, not too big, not too small. Looks like it can handle itself and avoid too much trouble.
It's almost like it was begging for us to steal it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this little border fortress itself, there's probably only a skeleton crew on there, especially if there has been poisonings or whatever here. You reckon the most resistance you could run into might be 10 people? But
Mm.
Dragoner is not to be trifled with. Their warriors are powerful, their technology is deadly,
Mhm.
their ships are dangerous, and they can hold a grudge.
So perhaps this is a good time for everybody to spill the beans about what makes them combat effective. I'll start. So I can, from the distance, do things like I have a sleep gas bomb. I have an earth shattering shrapnel charge. I have a fire napalm. I have this gravitational bomb that can pull people together that makes it better for area of attack. And I have a smoke screen.
Do
Oh,
you
and I
have
can
anything
take,
that doesn't blow up the ship that we're supposed to take for our own?
these are, so most of these are, so like whispering chrysanthemum is a sleep gas, right? The five-way reversal is just a way to move people into a common area, pull everybody together. So, I mean, those are the kinds that I can manipulate smoke without blowing things up. We can manipulate the battlefield, but then what? What else? I mean, I can always shoot things and catch them on fire. That's not a problem.
I have a gun.
I have a sword that I can infuse with elemental energy, and I can also attack from afar with my sword.
I'm going to stand at the back and make noodles for you guys.
I don't say anything. I just tap on the power armor.
Right. See,
At best, I could shoot a couple shots out of the air, but that's about as fancy as I get.
all right. So we have just brute force. That's our only option. Just so we know where our strengths and weaknesses are, and that we play to our strengths when we formulate a plan. All right. Okay. So we're looking at this boat tied to this pier, and is there are how many people or how many entities stationed guarding it?
There may be as many as 10 men stationed here. Probably Well, no, this is an opportunity to make an intelligence type roll. So anyone who's ever had any experience with the shogunate, roll insight plus insight.
Oh, I have.
I think June probably has as well in her travels.
All right. That's my whole background. How do you do the use a Fabula point thing to
So
make
you
it better?
spend a Fabula point and you can re-roll one of them if you want.
Okay.
I got an 11.
Got a 10.
I got 16.
Noise.
So I just want to reroll.
4.
You've heard of the shogunates, but you've never seen them, and they're probably all pussies.
I was too busy running away from them to get too close.
Yeah. All right. So Rowan, and presumably he's going to pass this information on to the others, has had entanglements with the shogunate before. So yes, they use technology, mostly magic to a lesser extent. Their samurai, their leader warriors, use blades that are infused with artificial versions of their greatest warriors and generals, and they can advise the samurai who carry them. Most of their armies are, however, made up of ashigaru, so lesser warriors, not noble born, but they still wear armor and carry gun spears. You'll probably, this being a border outpost, it's probably going to be more of an undisciplined rabble, because this is the kind of station that people get sent to when they've displeased someone. So you're probably looking at maybe a unit of ashigaru, but they will be lorded over by a samurai, but probably one of relatively low station and power.
Okay. So
Considering they were all poisoned before, I doubt they're going to accept gifts of free noodles from me.
Good point. So in my background, one of my possible reputation points is that supposedly I may have actually blown up one of their ships.
Yeah, not necessarily on purpose, but yeah. Oh, who did we lose that time?
Not me this time.
Oh.
That was Ed, wasn't it? Who was just speaking.
Yes, it was.
Okay, hopefully he'll be back. He blew up his own connection by accident.
Uh-huh.
All right, so any ideas on how to infiltrate or whatever to steal this ship?
How's it connected to the dock? Like, how's that?
There is a metal docking clamp extended out the side of the fortress and clamped onto the side of the ship.
So we would have to get that unhooked in order to be able to make off with it.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't going to be able to be done without much notice unless we could distract them.
Does it look technical, or like technological, or?
Yeah, it looks technological.
All right. Can you hear me? Am I back?
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Oh, Jesus, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of me going, ah! Yeah, so I would have an idea if they are primarily or how easily are they affected by magic, right? So I have a number of things that can cause distractions and create cover, and I don't know why I can't get this damn thing to fucking show up right now, but I know why now. Duh. So that's what I was trying to get an edge on, is whether or not the fact that we have a little more magical edge than technical edge is that going to help us at all? How susceptible are they?
They tend to rely more on technology than magic. Though to a lot of people, you can't necessarily tell the difference, particularly, whether a sword is inhabited by the spirit of your ancestor or an AI model of one amounts to the same thing as most people are concerned. But they are slightly more...
your magical defense.
Yeah, they're slightly more vulnerable to magic than they are to physical attacks.
Okay. Okay. So that's what I can contribute. I have bullets that will give them a condition of disoriented. No. What was that called? Disoriented. And I can do that over and over again. I can create smoke. Like I said.
I still offer my suggestion, the potential.
Of what?
The missing husband trick. I sneak on board, say I'm looking for my missing husband. Go from there.
All right, wait a minute.
It's a classic strategy.
I gotta tell you, I don't play the same types of games you guys do. So if this is a J thing, I'm unaware of it. Does it work?
Yes, either will or won't.
Devlin had that look like, no, actually this doesn't work. People try it, but it's actually not a good idea. So, I mean, why would you be looking for your husband on a plague ship?
I mean, it's just weird enough it might work.
Yeah, his body might be on there.
My husband's missing, and I brought all these delicious noodles for him.
Grim, is there a control room that controls that mechanical plant? Like near it?
If there is, it's probably at the top of the concrete pagoda, which has window slits all the way around it. And even from this distance, you can make out that there are a few telescopes. So they could probably keep an eye on any docked ships from up there. So it would make sense that would be where the controls are.
Well, whoever goes up there should probably take an explosive just to be safe. Either you gotta get the controls off manually, or we do the old trick of basically shooting the control panel to make what we want happen.
All right, I must have missed more than I realized in that split moment or so that I was offline. The control panel to what?
The mechanical arm holding the ship to the island.
There's a large clamp holding the ship in place that we need to remove from the ship to make off with it.
So that means that really what we have to do is go to where the joint of the clamp is and place an explosive in this vulnerable position and blow away the clamp so that we can then just sail away.
Or go for the control panel to have that open up. To release.
Where's the control panel?
We don't know.
I would assume it's back by where the machine connects onto this outpost.
So in Japanese role-playing games, does the trope never split the party exist?
That's just role-playing games in general, never split.
I know, that's my point. So what I'm trying to do is come up with a plan that keeps us all together at one time.
But blowing up a clamp connected to the ship that we want to take is probably not the greatest idea.
As compared to going and looking for a control panel. No, all we need to do is detach, right? So as long as the explosion is controlled enough to just cause the clamp to be broken so we can get away, that way...
Regardless, is there a way we see that we can?
And I can do it with poetry.
the explosion should be Plan B.
Yeah.
Plan A should be we distract them and unhook the ship.
Well, let's. How do we get onto the island in the first place? That's the first thing we need to figure out without getting caught.
Well, we're in a restaurant. We come and sell noodles, and we be noodle salespeople.
Uh-huh.
And then while you're distracted selling noodles, I and at least one other person will go over and get the ship unhooked.
Yeah, this plot's sounding like Star Wars to me now. That we're gonna go and turn off the. Yeah, you caught it exactly. That's what I'm starting to get a vibe of.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I think Obi-Wan would be an NPC in that Star Wars campaign.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Well, if you're going to use the noodle barge as the distraction, I could fly me and two of you, one in each hand, to the top, and we can enter, blow our way in and get to the controls.
I'd kind of prefer not to subject my business to withering fire from
No. That's
enemies.
That's why I said if three of us went to the top, not with your boat, and you guys were the distraction, like serving noodles and stuff and getting people busy, and then later we launch once people are busy down where you are.
So we want to make sure that we tie up right next to the ship we're stealing, so we can tie off the noodle boat to the stolen ship, so we don't leave it behind.
Or we just kind of walk in the front and take everything.
What?
Daylight charge across the minefield. It's the last thing they'll be expecting.
I mean, I'm a gambler, so.
I gotcha. So, no, why would we go to the top of this thing? Is there an assumption?
Because that's where the control center that we can see with all the periscopes and that watching is.
That's the control center, or that's the crow's nest?
No, he already said that's where the control center is, up there with all the periscopes watching the moored ships.
Yeah, that is the heart of this place we need to get to.
Yeah.
Think of it more like a control tower at an airport.
And we need to go there to get clearance and, get the ship unhooked.
They got all the release controls and everything up there.
All right. So operations versus flight control are two different things. The control panel controlling a gantry type device at the pier side, the control panel is going to be right there. It's not going to be up where they're keeping an eye and doing the air traffic control part. Those are separate functions.
Well, either way, we still want to be able to sabotage that so that way they can't track us.
I'm glad you guys got backup characters.
Yeah, no, it'll be fine. Just don't roll low. That's the strategy.
Yeah, I love that.
We'll be fine.
You see, we got all the bad rolls out of the way when we were doing the less important stuff, and now it's time for the important stuff. Now we've got to roll well.
Oh, yeah.
Characters can't die without our say so, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty much.
Oh.
Unless
Yeah.
there's no way other than to die.
I hear you. I just, I'm intuitively against illogical plans. Like, blow the clamp off of the ship, and we all get onto the ship. We blow the clamp, and we go away. Why would we
Makes a
so
lot of
stealthy?
that's flashy. That makes a lot of noise. We want to do this stealthy.
And it might destroy the thing we want.
No. I'm going to be doing it.
Yes.
It can be our last resort when we're getting out of there. If everything fails, then we can. It's plan B. I'm not saying we don't do it. I'm saying let's try another way first.
Then I'm going to reserve the 4 little words. I told you so. I'm just going to reserve them, and I'm going to let you know when it's time to serve them up. All right.
That's plan B. What's plan A?
Plan A is we go in stealthy. We distract with noodles, and we go and unhook it when everyone's distracted for a free meal.
Okay, so who's on Team Noodle and who's on Team Fuck Up Catastrophically and get into a big fight?
I'm on
I guess
Team Noodle.
I'm on Team Noodle because I'm the one making all the noodles. So, okay. So basically what I'm doing is I'm outfitting everybody with a noodle carrier. Everybody who's going to be part of this. And a whole thing of noodles on it. So that they can hand them out along with, chopsticks and stuff.
You don't have a
Courtesy
push
of...
cart?
What?
You don't have a push cart?
I have a restaurant.
Yeah. So what do you do when you want to hit street food? You want to go out and hit the actual street. You should have a little push cart.
Okay. Since Bao's going to keep talking, I'm going to put the noodle thing, the noodle harness on him, and then put all the noodles on it, and I'll say, guess.
Is this like a shoulder tray?
Yeah, basically, it's like a big shoulder harness type thing that you wear over your neck, and it's just carrying a whole bunch of noodles on it.
Like when you go to the
like
stadium
shelves.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Have fun.
I can't help but imagine there's like a big old picture on his back that has just broth and noodles floating around in it, and you just
No, that's me. That's me who does that. Yeah.
Grim, is there any other ships moored here?
There's a little launch, but that's just tied off a little projecting pier. But it is a Shogunate launch, so it's a little metal ship.
Yeah. By the way, the entire time we were over here, I was busy making my chashu pork for this. So.
And what's the bottom of the place look like?
It's a big pointy lump of rock pointed downwards, with a bunch of pipes and stuff running through it.
Ooh, crawl up one of the pipes. It can't possibly be dangerous.
Well, everyone's discussing what they want to do. I'll tell Devlin that I'm gonna go take a gander underneath, see if there's a way in from down there that's not seen. And I'll fly underneath the thing and see if I can find an entryway.
Can you make a Dex plus Insight roll, please?
10. 5 and 5, but I don't think that matters.
Okay. Right. So you move to the back of the ship as out of sight as you can be. In your armor, jump off, plummet there, and then fly around underneath the island.
Yeah.
Scoping the place out. Okay. All of these pipes, well, half of these pipes that are sort of penetrating the rock and spiderwebbing over it, half of them seem to go into what looks like a boiler house of some kind, towards the bottom of the concrete pagoda. The other half go into another building that looks similar to a boiler house, but lacks the chimneys or anything that such would have, and instead seems to be covered in even more pipes, and they're sort of snaking backwards and forwards all over the concrete.
Does any of it look weak enough that I could punch into it?
You could do a serious mischief to a lot of this pipe work if you really set about it.
No, I meant more like one of those two buildings. Does one of the two buildings look like I could break my way in to then go inside?
Given enough time, you could, but it would make a lot of noise.
And there's no other entry, no other spots I can see you can enter down here?
No, not from down here. And the ways into the two boiler houses seem to be internal. You can't see any ways in otherwise, or windows. Then above that, you have a sort of base level to the pagoda, which seems to sort of stretch out a bit, taking up most of the space of the island. It's probably where they have things like an armory or stock, loading and unloading docks, for the ships and all of that, then below. Then you got at the top of the pagoda is the control room, and then below that is probably where the barracks and offices are.
All right. So there's no spot below here that you can enter, sort of not unseen, but less.
The lowest
less
area you could enter from would be via the docks. That's where there are entryways.
Okay. Do I think I'd have problems carrying a couple people with me to drop into there?
You can carry one person, absolutely no problem. For two people, I'm gonna have to make you make a might roll.
Okay. Now fly back and report to these guys so we know what's down here.
Okay. I assume everyone was listening.
Sort of.
I heard one person okay, two person requires a roll. That was the most important part because that was about flying and carrying people. So
when I get back, I asked Devlin, to explain to Devlin what I saw. You want a couple of us to go in that way, and we could try to sneak up to the controls.
If we can get them look, the way I figured, if we can get them all distracted with the food, I know there's gonna be a lot of hungry people here, probably getting sick of getting the same old meal day after day, and a noodle ship showing up is gonna cause a bit of distraction. It's gonna have a few of them out of here. So I think this is probably the best way for us to approach this.
Well, do you want to be the one to come with me, or?
Let's do it.
Okay. So me and Devlin will take the flight path.
Okay.
okay.
And make...
Can I interject here a little real world how some things work?
Okay, one sec.
Yeah.
Can you make another Dex plus Insight roll, please?
12.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, yeah, what were you asking?
All right. So when you're sitting on board a ship and what we call the Roach Coach pulls up, they announce over the 1MC, Roach Coach is now on the pier, and everybody comes out and goes buys their ghee dunk. I feel very confident that when a noodle boat pulls up to the pier and everybody sees the noodle boat show up, just as Devlin has just mentioned, everybody's been eating. It's going to pull all these people out. All right.
Yes.
That part is going to be really, really successful. I still don't see the possible, but I'm at the possible but not probable on the sneak inside and set us free.
Okay, out of all the characters who can interface with the machine in order to control it, put their hands up. That's mine.
Oh, yeah, that's me too. But okay, go ahead. Good. I'm glad that's you then.
Yeah, no, I mean, my guy's the robot. He can actually interface with the machine. That's why I want to get to a set of controls.
All right, so the plan swings into action. While team fuck up catastrophically and get into a big fight, head off with Devlin.
Try not to do that.
He flies over. I'm hanging from him.
Yeah. Get feeling intense and painful heat on your back from his thruster jets and things.
Well, no, I'll hold him in front.
Okay. Well, you guys
burn to death.
Fly down, swoop underneath, come up onto the docks, and find one of the smaller side entrances to wait for Team Noodle to distract the crew.
Ron's got like a little baby carrier on the front for Devlin.
T-shirt, can you make a Dex Insight roll to pilot your restaurant safely and snugly up against the main dock?
Dex plus Insight?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I can do that. We could try anyway. What's the worst thing that could happen? We don't add them together though, right?
Yes,
or we do
add them together.
Okay. Well, got an 8, so
okay. You only slightly crash.
kind of bumped the pier a little bit.
Yeah. You've probably got, like they hang old tires and stuff over the side of boats.
Yeah.
You've probably got something like that.
Yeah, something rubber to absorb it.
Yeah,
They're just they're decoratively painted up like wrapped up bundles of noodles.
Exactly.
They're big giant. They call them camels. They're like big giant hard rubber balloons, and you probably burst one. You hit so hard.
Yeah, there's a loud graunch. Everything rattles and shifts, and one of your favorite old noodle bowls goes flying out of the window and tumbles into the void. But yeah, nothing too drastic. You sort of sit there a moment. Then a short while after, a big metal iris door opens up, and a handful of Ashigaru with their spears come almost falling over each other to get up to the...
All right. Put June and Bao to work. Start ladling out chashu noodles.
Have June should be selling the alcohol because we want them to get nice and boozed up.
Okay, I'll do that.
That's kind of part of it, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you letting them on board, or are you keeping them outside?
No, yeah, on the pier. We do it on the pier. Come out to the pier.
Of course.
All right. So yeah, you come out with the trays. So these Ashigaru, they got these long, like gun spears, kind of like those blaster spears from Star Wars. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
They wear quite heavy armor, conical hats with metal rings studded through them, and bronze demon masks, Oni masks, which they pull aside and let hang down. Real food. We haven't been resupplied in such a long time. Well, what's the best? What have you got?
We've got
chashu pork.
What was that? Sorry?
Chashu pork.
Delicious. And drinks?
Of course.
Ooh.
She brings over several pitchers of rice wine.
Wonderful, wonderful. They throw money at you both.
I'm
And,
talking.
Yeah, we'll have to see how much zenit we actually make off this endeavor after a little while. But
have to roll in a sec. But one of them is almost immediately, well, we've been stuck here without any women for months.
Think about it, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, here's a little something extra.
he just wants to put the tip of his spear in you.
Blast you.
I take that.
All right. These are amazing, hot, spicy noodles. Great for sipping on sake and sucking down steamy noodles. Drink more, gentlemen. Drink more.
And I promise they won't chemically react and explode in your stomach.
I don't know what Bao's putting in the noodles, but I'm just making regular noodles.
All right. So Operation Noodle Distraction is a runaway success. Meanwhile, down at the little side entrance to the loading docks.
Yeah, we've been waiting to hear if the announcement that there's a food vendor there thing go off.
I would think you would hear the crowd noise.
Well, that's anything like that, something in that.
If there was, it must have been internal. But you did hear the big loading doors open up, and there is this small crowd of Ashigaru helping themselves to noodles and rice wine, and amateurishly attempting to hit on Jun.
Probably a few trying to hit on Bao because they don't realize he's a boy.
Boy, nice.
Well, anyway, when the doors open, they're coming out on this little pier, or that's
No,
just
there's a big main loading dock for big cargo. You cleverly went to one of the small little side doors, but you're still going to have to get through it. So how are you going to open the door?
Are there any mechanical locks on the outside of it?
Yes, there are mechanical handles and Shogunate technological stuff as well.
I want to.
Well, Rowan, I have nothing but absolute faith in you.
I turned to Devlin. I'm like, you didn't see this before. I take my hand out of my sleeve and do the robot thing where it turns into little connectors and shit and plug into it.
Yeah. Does that have an actual power thing to it?
Yeah, it just gives you a +2 to deal with with the check, but then you still have to make.
Okay. All right. Make an insight plus willpower roll with the bonus.
Insight plus willpower.
Devil makes sure to look away, though he does at least linger for a moment. He's totally not looking out of the corner of his eye.
17 total.
Okay. Right. It's very impressive. He plugs a USB plug in the right way around first time.
He knows his male and female connections.
There's a series of low beeps and clunking sounds from inside the door, and this smaller loading door. Iris is open. Inside, there's a rather large sort of warehouse cargo bay type space, but there's not a lot of crates or anything in here. So it's newish, but it hasn't been used very much. The main cargo loading door is open on the other side, but they're all paying attention to the noodles, so you should have no trouble sneaking past, even though one of you is in giant Magitech armor.
Yeah. Well, once we get inside, I turn to Devlin. Should I leave my armor behind?
Do
you think there's going to be a lot?
I don't know. It might stand. It stands out a little bit. Maybe we should. Oh, actually, then again, I don't think we'll exactly be coming back this way. So you might want to bring it all the same.
Okay.
Can we do something to mask that better? Maybe throw a cape over it or something.
Well, I can just hover. So I'm not speed on the steps.
I'm getting full Metal Alchemist vibes from you two.
just hug the ceiling. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just put a poncho over it. Ponchos disguise everything.
So anyway, I'll follow you. We need to get to the top.
It worked for Raphael.
True.
Okay. Can you both make Dex plus Insight rolls, please?
Yes.
11.
4. I'm gonna go unplug that doorbell.
That's the reason.
Do you want to succeed at a cost?
What sort of cost were you thinking?
I'm trying to think.
You can spend a Fabula point to re-roll one of them, can you?
You can.
Yes, but I would have to. Wouldn't I have to have a trait involved?
Yes.
In that case,
bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong.
Like I said, I'm about to just unplug it from the wall just so he will stop pushing it. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna go do it.
Okay.
Cut back to the noodles.
Which leaves you to decide the cost. I will let you get all the way up to the tower without being spotted, but you will immediately be spotted in the control tower.
Sure.
Okay. So you follow Devlin up, both of you thinking you're being incredibly stealthy, but not really not being. Fortunately, the Ashigaru are all completely distracted by the noodles, booze, and the pretty girl. So
But
you managed to make...
the people at the top, where they're sneaking up to, had to have noticed this dude flying off, scaring another guy, and like,
Well,
wait, what? Wait, what
if they had, you would have thought the Ashigaru wouldn't have been so keen on the noodles and would have just opened fire, and they didn't. So
no. I mean, the guy's up in the tower, right?
Well,
they're looking at going, look at these jokers, and now up they come.
Not really.
And lo and behold, they're ready for them.
Well, you'd think.
Plus, too, if you drop behind the ship and then fall before you fly over and then come up underneath, that's not something where telescopes would probably see.
You take the stairs all the way up to the control tower and then open the door and step inside. There is no one else here except the station commander, a samurai in his more casual armor, but with his katana and wakizashi at his belt. He looks at you. You look at him. He looks at you. His thumb just gently clicks his katana out slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, is this not the bathroom?
Yeah. I'll pop the blade on my scythe module.
This is not the bathroom.
You notice how the bad guys always sound British in science fiction movies?
I'm trying to avoid racist accents. So
I know.
See, I would have thought they would have been French.
Yeah. Doesn't everything Grim says though sound British? Isn't that the point?
I'm
Can't
gonna
imagine
turn,
why.
look back to Rowan and back over to our samurai. Like, maybe I should have taken that left at the stairs instead of coming here.
Quite an
This is quite the view, especially of the ship. Is that clamp?
In the armor? Aren't you a little tall for a noodle salesman?
Well, obviously there's no chance to talk with this guy, so I popped the scythe blade.
Okay.
Turn, look back for him. Ah, hell! Pull out the gun.
Okay. Can you make an initiative roll, please? Which of you is fastest? It's Dex.
It won't be me.
Oh
yeah, 0.
What, you rolled double one?
No, I rolled 1 and a 3, but I have a -4.
Ah, okay. And what did you get?
0.
8. Okay. Right. Yeah, you draw your side blade, and in a whirl of action, almost. Everyone gain a Fabula point because he's a villain. In a whirl of action, almost too fast for you to comprehend, he draws his blade from its sheath, cuts a circular hole in the wall, and leaps out of it.
Okay.
But that leaves you alone with the controls.
Yeah, I'm not going to chase him. I'm going to go for the controls because that's what I'm here to do.
Okay.
So I'll plug in Devlin if you want to deal with him.
Yep, Devlin's gonna go run for the hole, and he's gonna jump out and try to fire down at him.
Okay. Yeah, you see him still falling. Make an attack roll, please.
Five, 6, 7.
Okay. The shot misses. You see him stab his blade into the side of the island, and it sort of scrapes and sparks and cuts down it until he stops. And he, keeping behind the pipes and behind the rock, he starts moving around on the underside of the island. You can't really get a clean shot. Can Rowan make insight willpower roll to trigger the controls?
16. 8 plus 6 plus 2.
Okay. Right, no problem. Right, the rest of you hear the controls switching over, and the docking tunnel detaches noisily from the ship and starts to retract. The Ashigaru go drop their noodles and go running back in as quickly as they can.
I think that's our cue to board.
And exactly. I take a line and tie it to, and run up onto the new ship and tie off the noodle boat.
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted you to do.
June anime jumps onto the ship.
And I'm also getting onto the ship.
What are Devlin and Rowan doing?
Well, you ready to fly?
Yeah, I guess we fly now.
It's convenient he left a hole for you.
Yeah, I grab him and jump out the hole or squeeze out the hole.
You carry me. I'm gonna get a shot off.
Yeah, sure. I'll fly along.
Okay, so yeah, he grabs you, fires up the jets, and swoops out through the hole in the wall just as the Ashigaru burst in behind you. What? No idea what's going on. Yeah, so you come flying out, swooping around down towards the new ship, which is now tied off to the restaurant.
Yep. I'll drop Devlin on the dock and then just start pushing the ship.
Okay.
What, the big one?
Yeah.
Jumpstart.
Okay.
It's floating,
Devil,
Yeah.
Devil
It's got
lands,
mass.
gets
Yeah.
back to his feet, and
but
gonna
this
try to
gets it
run.
moving.
Hey,
Okay.
Devlin, I think we need you on board the ship.
yeah, I think you're right. He's gonna, he gets dropped. He's gonna do a little roll and get back onto his feet and stumble, start running for the running for the cockpit.
Okay.
We're just kind of drifting off away from the pier. You better get on board before we drift away.
Yeah. Can you make a Dex plus Might roll to leap the gap and get onto the ship, please, Devlin?
No, Devlin, I dropped on the ship.
Hey,
No,
Jason.
you said the pier.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I dropped him on the ship.
Okay, well, never mind then. Yeah.
As I said, I dropped him on the ship and then I start pushing.
All the
This
same, I
starts
rolled a
getting it to move
15.
away.
Okay, so no problem either way. All right. So everyone is now piled onto the ship, except Neil, who's staying on the restaurant.
We've all moved from the restaurant to the new ship, yes.
Okay. So Devlin runs through the interior of the ship, which is all sort of very sparse, ascetic sort of shogunate design.
He's trying to force his way through doors, and he's praying to God every time that the door isn't locked as he slams against it.
Yeah, and eventually you burst into the piloting section, fire up the engines. Anyone who's still outside, which is none of you, but I guess the Ashigaru see all the runes and stuff light up on the big stone at the back of the ship, and it begins to move. Right, you move away from the docks, towing the restaurant behind you. You're all sort of, we made it. And then there's a very loud sort of clunk and clang from the underside of the ship, and you lurch and you drop a few dozen meters downward. And
Well, that's not good.
you hear clanking noises from underneath the ship still going. And then you hear some more clanking and thumping noises. Sounds like they're coming from the cargo dock
Uh-oh.
within the
Drop below the ship.
cargo dock.
Drop below the ship and see what's going on.
Okay. The cargo bay doors at the bottom, which are also used as bomb bay doors, are open, and that's all you can see at the moment.
Oh, that guy crawled in.
Fly into the doors.
All right. You fly up to the inside, and you immediately see what looks kind of like the insect tank from Ghost in the Shell, but not more sort of steam powered. It looks like it's a power loader of some kind.
Okay.
It has big pneumatic claws, and it turns and looks right at you. And through its little viewport, you can see that samurai's mask.
Okay.
Right. I know not everyone is directly involved in anything in combat range yet, but can everyone make an initiative roll? So that's Dex plus Insight. And who has the fastest?
Not me.
13.
8.
8.
Okay.
Mighty 2.
Okay, then. So you
Oh,
lose. Sorry, what did you get?
I got 5 plus 6 minus 3, so that is. It's not enough. I don't. Or wait, no. Hold on. I'm just doing calculations. That's 11 minus 3, so it's 9 or 8.
Okay. So So Neil is the only one who got higher initiative. I think. Did you lead it? No, it was the character who's not here that led it last time. But I guess we'll take you as leader then. All right. Who wants to go first? I'm assuming Rowan, because he's right there facing the thing.
Oh, sure.
Yep. Okay. What's Rowan want to do about this large power loader that looks a bit like a Tachikoma, but bigger?
Is it attached to anything? Like, can it be pulled out the hole?
You could potentially try and wrestle it out the hole. Yeah.
Try that. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. Make a might plus might roll.
10.
12. Okay, so you stomp over to it, grab it by one of its legs, and heave. Your armor strains, steam gushes out of you, the joints, power runes light up, but this thing stubbornly refuses to move.
You may want to change to some combat music, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Is there a boss fight music? Decisive battle? Let's see what that sounds like. Says it's playing.
I hear it.
They seriously made some good music for Fabula.
They did.
Oh, packed enough. That's better.
Okay.
Final battle. There we go. All right, so it gets a go. It twists one of its loader claws around and tries to grab Rowan and pull him off it. So it makes a might plus might roll. What's your physical defense?
16.
10, 11, 12. All right, so it manages to get hold of you, but you manage to push it off you. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
So
You are
I'm
not
gonna
in the loading dock yet.
head to where I hear the ruckus.
Okay, so you scramble down through the decks. Just make a dex plus dex roll. If you get 10 or more, then you manage to get down there.
9.
Okay, so you're not quite there yet, but you can reach there next turn.
Okay.
All right.
I got it. So I have a question about this action. So I'm moving. That is my action. I can't do an inventory, like reach in and use my inventory points to get something. That is an action in and of itself.
You can use your minor action to move, and then use your main action to fiddle about with your inventory if you want.
Okay, so I'm going to use my major action. I want to spend 4 inventory points for this experimental magical EMP device that I've got. Just one of.
Okay. You can roll the dice and handle that while I carry on. Okay. You didn't reach there yet. So, right. The power loader, the Rodosha, gets a second go. It brings its other claw in to try and grab Rowan by the legs. Your defense was 16, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay. Again, it manages to grab hold of you, but your armor is really strong and manages to struggle free. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I guess I can, though I think since I'm at the helms, I'm a little more limited for what I'm able to do.
Yeah.
You could rock the ship.
That was going to be my next guess, was just to tilt the ship to see if that... maybe are there maybe some cameras I could see what's going on in the cargo hold?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, a little magical 3D projection comes up of the cargo hold.
In which case I could conceivably see which way to tilt the ship.
Yeah. Make a Dex or Dex Insight roll, whichever's highest.
It's the same either way.
Okay.
Let's see. 4, 6 is 10.
Okay. No, it doesn't have any effect. This thing's pretty squat and it's got 6 legs, so it's hard to knock off balance, but it is a good idea. So that was Devlin. Right. Because it's a boss, it gets another go. Annoyed with Rowan at this point, it activates its electrical battery and casts Arc Weld on you. What is your magical defense?
14.
And still fails. So, yeah, the power just arcs through your armor and down into the deck plates without actually hurting you. 5 magic points. Okay. Who's up next?
I guess I haven't gone yet, have I?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, so this round I've already pre-rolled it.
Yeah.
I went ahead and whipped together something salty and something sour. And came up with something, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of nice. I don't think I want to use this just yet. So. All this. That was literally my turn.
This dish is too good to waste on combat. No.
Well, I mean, nobody's used any mind points yet, so...
Some of us can't. I don't have any abilities to use them.
Yeah, well,
Well, right now, the only thing I can do is shoot bullets out of the air.
Oh well, that's true. Actually, this will still work. Then I'll go ahead and cast it. Okay, so I whip up my interesting bowl of noodles with adding 2 ingredients, one of which is salty and the other which is sour, and then throw it at everybody, and I guess everybody munches it mid-combat. And here's what happens: everybody recovers 40 mind points if you spent any, and during the next turn of each of you, all the damage that you deal becomes bolt damage.
It's
Electricity.
Sour Patch Kids soup.
Yeah.
It's tangy, sour, electrical.
Electrical power. I call this dish sweaty balls.
It tastes like
and salty.
It tastes like an old jock strap, but it'll really power you up.
Okay.
It's salty and sour. So.
You're not helping.
It continues to try and fire lightning through Rowan and scores a crit. Ooh, what happened?
Here you go, Ironcaster.
Okay.
Salty sour.
Best I can do.
Hey, what are you drinking? Is that a sarsaparilla?
Spreacher.
Oh, it's a Sprecher, root beer. Those are good.
Went to Menards today.
Opportunity. Right. Opportunities. Okay, advantage on its next attack.
I'll copy the effect here in the private chat for you.
Okay. And you take 16 points of electrical damage to Rowan.
Okay.
Okay. And it's making you twitch, and you're partially stunned, but not enough for a status effect. Okay, who's left to go then? Jun?
think June had to step out.
Yeah, with the dogs.
Fortunate timing.
It does finally answer the question of who let the dogs out.
June.
Did Bao go?
Yeah, I ran.
Yeah.
Ran all night and day. Just ran.
So far away.
Did you just want to continue on and then give her makeup when she gets back?
Yeah, I'm thinking she is a melee fighter, so she's going to need to run there. But I don't have a character sheet up, so I can't make the roll for her.
Well, if she's going to run down, you can probably just continue and then have her roll it when she...
Yeah, we'll continue. Okay, so new turn. Who wants to go first?
I can. Using that display, can I check to see if there are any other threats on the ship?
Yeah. Make an insight roll.
Are you still rocking it?
It's what I was doing last time. Yes.
No, but I mean, once you started rocking, did you keep it rocking?
It would have been just like a quick and sudden like rotation to the side.
Rock the boat, baby.
Yeah.
7.
You ain't seen shit. Probably due to the unfamiliar controls.
In that case, we're just turning it back the other way now.
Okay. So yeah, you can use your simple action to scan the area, and then your normal action to twist and turn the ship. So can you make another Dex plus Insight roll, please?
13.
That is enough. The loader slides across the deck plating and bumps into the wall, knocked momentarily off balance. So next attack against it has a bonus of +1. All right. So
I'm back.
it goes.
Yay!
Welcome back.
It's your turn.
Can you
Awesome.
can you make a Dex plus Might roll to run down to the fight?
Yes. Dex plus so Dex. Oh, it's D10. Nice. 10. What if I do
All the while,
10?
the entire ship is just getting flipped around and around like it's in a spin cycle.
Oh, my D10. I have it right here. I'll just use one. I'll just use the 10's number. Sorry. Oh, it's Dex plus Might or what?
Dex plus Might, yeah.
Oh. Never mind. Roll this way. That is 13.
Okay. Yeah. So you sort of slide down the stairs and leap down into the cargo bay, where you see Rowan facing off in heroic melee combat against a gigantic mechanical loader crab thing.
Okay, can I use one of my spells against?
You can when it's your turn again. Do we want to
Okay.
let them go again, or does someone else want to go first?
Oh, let him go ahead and
Right
actually.
now, 'cause I
if
was
you go-
coming down to fight next.
You two keep interrupting each other, one at a time.
Okay.
T-shirt.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and let June go? That way she can get the effect of my treat, which I bet you missed what it was.
No, I wasn't there.
I thought what it was, but if I hit it using your treat, that's the +1.
No.
No.
It's the
Check the
magic points.
private messages.
Yes. Yeah. If you used up magic points, you get 40 of them back.
Yeah.
Up to 40 of them back. Plus, during the next turn, not this one, but the next turn of each. The next turn, all the damage that you deal becomes bolt damage.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay,
electrical.
but, so what was Jun doing for attack? You probably want
I
to
was-
fire off your most
I was-
powerful spell.
Well, it's not too powerful because I only took 2 spells because I had 2 levels in Elementalist. But I am going to use Soaring Strike, which says the wind carries your strikes across the battlefield. You may immediately perform a free attack with a melee weapon you have equipped. This attack may target creatures that can only be targeted by ranged attacks. Use the weapon with brawling or spear and damage. If you hit a flying target with this attack, you may force them to land immediately.
Okay. And that's a free attack.
Yes. It's
Okay.
instantaneous, actually.
Yeah, so you have your normal attack as well. So you
Yeah.
can make an attack with your sword and then do the
No,
free
his spell becomes the free attack. Or excuse me, his spell becomes his normal attack, and then the free attack is to do the sword attack. I have one of my abilities works the exact same way.
Oh, okay.
So you use your action to make the spell work, and then you use the free attack the spell gives you to actually attack with the sword.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right, but you can do it at range. So, all right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your melee attack roll.
Okay. Melee attack. In this case, would I just roll Dex plus Might?
You roll your normal melee attack, but it's just that it strikes at range, so it lets you play to your strengths at range.
Okay.
So it should be might plus might, probably.
Oh, Might plus Might. Got it.
Probably.
No, his sword was Dex plus Might plus 1,
There you go. So Dex plus might plus 1.
Okay.
and his damage was high roll plus 6.
That is 6. What? Is high roll plus 6?
You got 6 in total.
Yeah, 6 total.
That's a miss.
Oh, never mind.
You got to hit
The-
for your damage.
Yeah, you lash out with your spell, and the strike from the blade is carried through the gap between and just impacts off the armor in a shower of sparks. All right, it's go next. Right. It fires a bolt of electricity towards Jun. What's your magical defense?
My magical defense is 8 because it's a D8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I use my action to interpose since I'm right there?
Yes, that'll use your action for this turn.
Yeah,
then.
that's fine. I just step in the way.
Yeah. Okay. It missed anyway, so
Awesome.
you don't need to worry. All right. So yeah, an arc of electricity strikes out from this thing and just arcs across the wall, leaving scoring marks and sparks. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next because it'll make it easier for people to hit it now.
Okay, go for it.
Oh,
So-
nobody's hurt yet, right?
I'll tell you.
I'm hurt.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm hitting it with my slingshot. 13 to hit.
Is that
This
physical damage or magical damage?
All right, so it is. What is it? What's my inventory potion? Inventory points. The effect. Bolt. No, all right. So it doesn't do damage. Right. All right. This is what it does. Does it hit?
Yes.
Okay. So long as it hits, the target suffers dazed, shaken, slow, and weak.
All of those?
All of them at once. Correct.
Wow.
Damn.
So
That's 14. Yeah, that you roll 14 on the chart for effect.
shaken. What was the other effect? Weak and
Slow and weak.
Yeah, it's
slow
all 4 of the basic ones.
Right.
and weak. For a turn?
Just a second. Let me double check. Yeah, I guess it's just a turn. Because it doesn't say otherwise anywhere else.
But that will make it easier to hit. So.
Right.
Cumulative status effects. Abilities cannot be reduced below D6.
That's insanely powerful, man. That's kind of like the shutdown button on bosses.
Let's see. Character suffering from a status effect and receives its claim. No, that's not that. Yeah, it's got to be just one turn.
Yeah,
I don't know if it is because you have special potions and things to remove conditions.
Oh, wow. Well, let's. All right. Let me do one more careful reading then.
Well, what power is it?
Yeah.
This is how the alchemy invention types works with inventory.
So it's a random potion that you put together.
Correct.
Using inventory points.
My gourmet stuff is random too, but it makes me pick between one of those effects, not all of them.
I think you probably had to pick.
Let me check that too.
No, because there are other status effects that only hurt one, that only affect one. So it's very clear that it's on page 213.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give a look.
212 is
Let's say all. Suffers days, shaken, slow, and
Yeah.
weak.
Days shaken, slow, and weak. It is all of them.
Wow, that's awesome.
How long do these last?
I know, it doesn't say wanted. No. One.
I think we may have to house rule some stuff.
Yeah, I might.
All right, well, inventory, what does it say when you grab? No, that's not the same thing.
Inventory points. Tonic. Recover from a single status effect.
Yeah.
Might be better here.
Spending. Spending. Yeah, see, all of those things that you spend an inventory point, not only are they consumable, but they, except for the tent, only last one round.
I was gonna say, it's like, wouldn't it be equal to your skill level?
Conditions last until removed.
Whoa!
Wow!
Remove them using inventory points or resting. So yeah, status effects are really powerful.
Jesus.
So that means every single one of his dice go down.
Yeah.
Because each one of those relate to one stat.
Correct.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay.
That's super powerful.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, where were we? Okay, so that was Bao's turn, which means it's Mr. Roboto's turn next.
Did T-shirt's character go?
You move back and forth between.
Yeah, I haven't gone yet, but I don't have to go yet.
But yeah, Bao just went. So it's.
Yeah, no, I was just asking if T-shirt wants to go next.
Oh, yeah.
He wants me to go.
It's. I mean, I'm waiting for someone to get hurt.
Oh, okay. All right.
So-
I'm trying to throw it out.
So all I'm doing is I'm mixing up another. I'm mixing up another delicacy, sweet and umami. Oh, wait a minute, this isn't useful. Well, this might be useful right now. So okay, sweet plus umami. Each of this delicacy's targets recovers from the shaken effect I had to pick. Plus, each of this delicacy's targets treats their dexterity as if it were one die size higher up to a maximum of D12 until the end of my next turn. So Devlin's going to appreciate that, and probably Bao is too.
All right, he's a boss, so he's going to use his turn and one of his Ultima points to shake off all status effects and regain magic points. So it just stands there, shaking it off, and all the shaking and shuddering and weaknesses slowly disappear. So it did make it waste a whole action standing there and doing that. And if it wasn't a boss, that would have been supremely powerful. All right. So who wants to go next?
Well, he just went, so I think I'm the last one. All right, so I try to check him out the hole again.
Wow. So T-shirt went and put together his thing. Yeah.
Yep.
I have a question about mechanics. Is this thing, this construct, is it considered a soldier rank type construct?
No,
It's a boss.
Okay.
No,
Having
the construct itself is part of it being a boss.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay. So. What's Ryan's defense again?
Wasn't I supposed to go before it? Because it used its action.
It needs to go after T-shirt went, and then it's your go.
Yeah,
So
but I thought its go was using the action to do that thing to shrug off all the effects.
that was before.
How many actions does it get for every action?
4 actions.
Right.
What is Ryan's defense?
16.
Okay. It snaps its claws at you, but misses. So now it's your go.
Okay. I want to try to throw it off again.
Okay, go for it. So make a might roll.
Well, I got a 10 and a 2, so wait a minute. There's the spend the Fabula thing, right? I want to
Re-roll a dice. Yeah, if you've got something that fits.
Yeah, I'm secretly a robot.
I think it's a secret.
You can match it. You can match it robot to robot. Sure. Okay. Spend the Fabula point.
Yes!
Roll the other dice.
10 now.
Nice. So that's a crit. So that gives you an opportunity. So, what can opportunities do? Advantage, give a +4 to a roll. Give it an affliction. You could give it weak, and then it would be less able to resist your throw.
Sure.
Okay. So that drops its strength die type by 1. So that drops that to 8. And then you rolled 20. And I try to resist. Rolling only 5.
Oh, I get +2 if I'm interacting with a machine too. Machine.
Okay, true. All right. So while it's reeling from all these other attacks, and when it comes to grab hold of you, you grab hold of it in return and sort of Aikido throw it, the whole thing, down through the open port at the bottom of the ship, and it goes hurtling down into the void, futilely firing a couple of grappling hooks to try and grab back onto the ship. And you just see it sort of mechanically twitching and reaching for the air as it goes tumbling down. Somewhere down there, something will happen to it, but no one will ever know. And you sail off into the sunset in your newly blagged ship.
All right, where's the pirate victory music?
Where is the victory music?
Oh, so combat's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Hold the thing out the bottom.
I didn't really get to do anything this time.
You cooked 2 dishes.
Yep.
That's all right. I mostly got beat on till the end.
Yeah, you took it, which is the main thing. All right, let's see about experience points.
I made everyone seasick.
Like all my stuff came up like heal. You know, stop conditions and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like, okay, so I'm just a support guy this particular combat.
Yeah, none of your healing stuff will help me
Why not?
because I don't eat.
Doesn't mean anything.
Don't eat, don't drink.
Doesn't matter.
It's magical food.
It's
We'll
magic.
shove it in you all the same.
Yep. We'll just throw it right in your sphincter and it'll still affect you.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
5 points for the
Characters.
session.
characters who are absent from a session don't get Fabula points, but do get XP, same as everyone else. So, gaining experience points. Your character automatically gains 5 experience points, so everyone gets 5 XP, and on your secondary characters.
Yay!
Your character will also gain an amount of XP equal to the amount of Ultima points spent by villains during the session. So that's 2, so you'll get another 2 experience points. Finally, your character will gain an amount of XP equal to the amount of Fabula points spent by the group during the session, divided by the number of player characters that took part in the session. Who spent Fabula points?
Caster did.
No, I tried to.
I almost did in the beginning.
Yeah. That divided by thing seems kind of nuts.
Yeah.
It should be just the ones you spend. The way it's like the villains spend.
Okay. Well,
I assume-
I know at least one was spent, so we'll just give you all 1 XP.
For a total of 8.
Yeah. Okay. There are
2 more in the Wii
options
level.
for advancement on page 230. So let's have a look. there.
You have to have 10 or more XP.
Yeah.
That's what I said. 2 more, and we level.
Uh-huh. We should have blown more Fabula points.
Quick, spend some Fabula points right now.
Well, we will know for next time. You know, I'll have a better feel for the rules. You'll have a better feel for the rules.
Yeah, quick hint. It's usually you're gonna blow a lot more Fabula points and get more XP if you're more engaged in combat than planning.
Characters will engage additional experience at the end of each battle in which all enemies fled or reduced.
Will the secondary characters be getting more than just the 5 points, or only the 5?
They get the same XP as everyone else.
Okay.
So they level up at the same rate.
And your Fabula points do carry over. So.
And so what, we get a Fabula point for the game or something?
Yeah, at the start of the game, you each get one, which you should have put on then. You had a fumble, which gave you a Fabula point. Gave you one when the villain came in. Nobody was reduced to 0 hit points. Nobody invoked one of their bonds or traits to fail. So that's that. And at the end of a session, you have a chance to increase your level. If you have 10 or more experience points, you must spend 10 of those points and increase your character level by 1. You keep any experience points in excess. You can only gain 1 level per session. Okay, so we won't need to worry about that till next time.
So what was our total XP? Sorry.
I believe it was 8.
Just 8. Okay. I was just double checking.
And apply it to your secondary characters as well. All right.
All right.
All right. I think we're done. And I'll come up with an adventure for next week. And if anyone out there wants to join us, they're more than welcome.
Please do. Please.
Yeah.
I think All American wanted to join us. Ultra.
Okay. I didn't see anything.
Well, so our secondary character is going to be on the ship in the next game?
Yes. We will assume some time has passed and that you will have been to other places, picked up some crew, done some stuff in the background, you know, all of that sort of thing. And then we'll pick up with a plot hook and
we redecorated the ship a bit to make it look less obvious.
So who's our ship captain, Devlin?
I was going to say, in pirate form, we have to vote on the captain. I nominate me.
Yeah, no. You're
No.
too young.
Devlin, I think.
Well, let's save the captain vote for a scene.
You got it.
Or we can do one session with each of you as captain and see how it goes. And then...
Yes, we take it in. We're a collective the syndicalist commune on the ship.
All right. Thanks for playing, everyone. Thanks for watching, everyone out there. This is an ongoing campaign until we get fed up with it. So join us for more antics and shenanigans next time. Bye.
Take care.
Later.
Hi, everyone.